Hi, this is Ken.
And Laurie Heisey of Heisey Advisory Group. We're dedicated to helping individuals and families work toward their financial goals.
If you're retiring soon, join us Saturday at 9:30 a.m. for your Retirement Highway.
Investment advisory services by individuals through AE Wealth Management, LLC.
There are many ways to listen. Most choose radio. But have you tried streaming? Download the Odyssey app and you can stream 97.1 with one touch. Or try it touchless by telling your smart speaker to play it.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
Right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong. I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, Beth. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
We've now got one major political party, my party, which has really become a cult of personality. And we've got to get this party back to a place where we're embracing the values and the principles on which it was founded, and talking about, fundamental issues of civics, fundamental issues of what does it mean to be a constitutional republic.
But Congresswoman, you didn't answer me yes or no.
It takes
yeah,
to
I know
keep
that
Donald Trump. I will be doing whatever it takes to keep Donald Trump out of the Oval Office.
Well, I know you didn't say yes or no, and that's fine if you're thinking about it. But are you thinking about it? Are you thinking about running for president?
That's a decision that I'm going to make in the coming months, Savannah. I'm not going to make any announcements here this morning, but it is something that I'm thinking about, and I'll make a decision.
So I think the answer is yes, I'm thinking about it. But she's going to have a lot more time to think about that now as Liz Cheney suffers a pretty significant defeat last night in that Wyoming primary. Who's surprised? Exactly nobody. Abraham Lincoln's pretty surprised, though. He's like, hey, how did I get brought into this? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, don't bring me into this.
Listen to her at her
The
speech.
great and original champion of our party, Abraham Lincoln, was defeated in elections for the Senate and the House before he won the most important election of all. Lincoln ultimately prevailed. He saved our Union, and he defined our obligation as Americans for all of history.
Abraham Lincoln was also very good at working across the aisle and very good at bringing people together. And he famously said that he defeats his enemies by making them his friends.
Right.
Just like Liz Cheney. They're the same people. They are indistinguishable in a side-by-side panel. It's like, is that Abe? Oh, no, that's Liz Cheney. Happens to me all the time.
Yeah, and let's not also forget that, like, when Lincoln came into office, Lincoln was a very divisive president. Like, when he got elected, that's when the South decided, hey, we're out.
We should get Brian Kilmeade on. Did he talk about that today on his show?
I didn't catch it if he did.
Because I read his book that's about Abraham Lincoln and Frederick Douglass. Highly, highly, highly recommend that you check out this book from a historical standpoint. And this inside baseball here. Do you ever have something that you're really intent on doing, and then you get to the place where you're supposed to do it, and you're like, what am I doing here? I have no idea.
All the time.
And then you remember at a later time where you can't manifest said thing in that moment. I called my husband yesterday. His first day of school is today, so I can't call him now and tell him to do anything. I guess I could, but I don't think he's going to answer. But my husband is a history teacher. Mm-hmm. He's a middle school social studies teacher. And this is what I was going to tell him yesterday. I think I was in the studio and I was like, I don't remember the other thing I was going to. Were you in here when I said that? I was like, I don't know what I was going to talk to you about. It was important, but I can't remember. Let me hang up the phone so that I will immediately remember what it is that I wanted to ask you. And I just remembered it now, and I'm on the air, and this is happening in real time. I want him to make me a list of movies. Yes, movies, not books, because I have only so many minutes in the day. I do listen to audiobooks, and that's how I listened to Brian Kilmeade's book on Lincoln and Douglas, and was very, very interested in it. Give me a list of movies that best depict and educate while also entertaining key historical events that people need more information on. I think that today maybe a Lincoln one. I need to get a Daniel Day-Lewis 4-hour block in my day scheduled so that I can spend some time and listen to him talk about what does he say? In my great and unmatched power. He's sitting there and he's trying to get everybody to come together to push forward in his cause to abolish slavery ultimately. But that movie is a really good one. Liz Cheney comes out and she starts talking about Abraham Lincoln, the creator of the Republican Party, essentially. And she's who is she talking to? Who hears that and goes, she's so right. We've been waiting for her. It's been how many years since Abraham Lincoln walked the face of this earth? We lost him too soon, but Liz Cheney has arrived and is back. It doesn't make any sense, and it only fits into the conversation when we are fully willing to put ourselves into her reality, which is different than ours. I think a 92% or whatever it is conservative matched to Trump voting record. She is a conservative person. She does vote and espouse Republican conservative policies, but that's not why she's there. And she literally just says in that statement there that she didn't openly say, yes, I'm thinking about running for president. She went yak, 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 which is why I'm thinking about running for president. And I'll get back to you when I decide later on down the road. But the only thing that she says is to keep Donald Trump out of it. The only reason why she is going to run for president in that statement right there, if she chooses to, is to make sure she saves the country from Donald Trump. That is exactly why she lost this election, because she actually was a good conservative vote in the House of Representatives. She did go there and espouse conservative principles in her voting record. But nobody's talking about her voting record because all her legacy is going to be is tied to Donald Trump. Her choice, nobody else's. Nobody did this to her. This is the path she has chosen. And it came to a hard and fast stop last night in Wyoming. So I guess the path jets off to the right or maybe the left. And now she's going to consider running against Donald Trump for the president of the United States. And I suppose what she's saying there is Liz Cheney going to run for office, for the presidential office, if Donald Trump doesn't run? Of course not. Is Liz Cheney going to challenge Ron DeSantis to be the president of the United States? I can't imagine that reality. Who that votes Republican anywhere is begging for more Liz Cheney? It doesn't exist. You know who really loves Liz Cheney? Democrats. And Democrats love Liz Cheney for the same reason Republicans, this is kind of maybe a sore subject in the moment, the way Republicans love Joe Manchin. Republicans would still rather have a Republican vote in the United States Senate rather than Joe Manchin. But when you see that Joe Manchin has some principles that are similar to what people who think economically conservatively and pro-U.S. energy, clean energy even. When you compare Joe Manchin to Democrats, yes, he's a favorable person in the United States Senate, but if you compare him to Republicans, you'd want to replace him. So of course Democrats are out there saying, oh, Liz Cheney, why can't the Republican Party be more like Liz Cheney? Well, because they're Republicans, that's why. And we're not going to sacrifice our entire country and everything going forward based on Donald Trump this or Donald Trump that. I mean, she's the other side of the coin that she hates. The obsession with all things Donald Trump cannot be the path forward for the United States. And people like Liz Cheney fuel the Donald Trump fire. She goes away for a while. She decides she's going to be on the sidelines for a while, or Wyoming decides she's going to be on the sidelines for a while. Her not pushing back on Donald Trump makes Donald Trump less of a story. I don't know if she knows that. I don't know if the idea that the more Trump is in the news maybe puts Liz Cheney in the news more. None of this. I've spent 10 minutes here talking to you about Liz Cheney and Donald Trump. None of it has to do with making inflation better for you. None of it has to do with bringing down gas prices. None of that has to do with whether or not the border is going to be safe and secure and they're going to stop drugs from being trafficked across the southern border into our country to God knows where. Children from being trafficked across the southern border to God knows where to do God knows what. None of anything that we've discussed right now has to do with making sure that parents get to decide what happens in the classroom for their children when it comes to social and cultural issues that are being pushed and prioritized over our failing math scores, our failing reading scores. You compare us to the rest of the countries in the world that are top tier countries. We're not shining. We're not the shining star, but boy, we all know what pronouns are. Maybe this was a ruse to get kids to learn what pronouns are earlier than the third grade or something. This is the focus of the national conversation today, and it has been this way, and it's going to continue to be this way, is who you got, Liz Cheney or Donald Trump? I have America. And one of those might be a better avenue to the America that I want to continue to raise my kids in. But it's not because of either one of those individual groups. It's because it's America. It's the United States of America. That means something. The USA is a place where people flee to, risk life and limb to be here, to get away from communism, from socialism, from heavy ham-fisted governments that want to pick and choose how you live your life and take a ton of your money in order to give you the life that they want you to have. That's why people come here to the United States of America. And while we're getting so contorted and wrapped up in Liz Cheney this, I mean, Adam Kinzinger, people don't even talk about him anymore, thank God, because he read the tea leaves and he sat aside. He's probably going to run with Liz Cheney. Pause for effect. Gross. We could spend all of our time talking about these people. And, if you're on the left and you wanted to obsess over talking about the Joe Manchins of the world or the Kirsten Cinemas of the world, that doesn't get you to the point where you're actually affecting the change that you truly believe in. It just wins one fight after the other with people who are never going to change their minds. You bicker back and forth with people who all they think about is Donald Trump. Inflation is bad. And they say, well, at least our guy doesn't have nuclear secrets in his wife's boudoir. That's what they'll tell you. And it's like, I don't even know how to respond to that other than to not. Are there any adults in the room that steer the conversation? Are there any adults in the room who care about focusing on the issues and getting us back to a place where prosperity is what exists in this country and pushing into the future for our kids, where we want to fortify and increase the freedom that you get to have here in the United States of America for our children and for our grandchildren? That is the focus. Not did Trump, is it Trump or nah? That's the conversation every single day. I say to Brad before the show regularly, I'm so tired of this. Everybody already knows whether they think if Trump was president right now, whether we'd be better off or worse off. Everybody has an opinion on that. We've got 2.5 years left of what we're dealing with right now that we need to key in and focus on. If Liz Cheney would have won that primary last night, would she have won the general? She would have. She would have gone to Congress and she would have still been able to vote Republican on most things. She would have been an asset over a Democrat in a Republican majority in the House. But people have the opportunity in primaries to say, no, we can do better than that. And the people get to choose. That's the key. No matter how big and how elitist and how important Liz Cheney thinks that her thoughts and opinions and perspective are on the presence of Donald Trump in our government, it is not more important from her elitist, generationally powerful in politics family. Her opinion is not more important than the people of Wyoming's opinion. And that's what happened last night. And you don't have names for each and every one of those people. It's like Steve Martin says, I want to thank you all for coming. Thank you. Have you ever seen that skit? It's a great one. Steve Martin's great. We don't have the opportunity to go thank the hundreds of thousands of people who voted in the Wyoming primary yesterday, But everybody's going to have to show up in kind in 84 days to vote in this midterm election because you are the top of the pyramid. You're the power. You're the authority. You get to have your say. And if Liz Cheney wants to write a book and she wants to be a CNN contributor, an MSNBC contributor, and keep talking the way she's been talking for the last 2 years, if that's what she believes in, she should go do it. It's just not really having the effect right now that I believe she wants it to have. The more she talks about it, I don't think she's hurting our side. And I'm not even saying our side is the pro-Trump side. I'm talking about the pro-America side. America spoke last night. Wyoming spoke last night. And Liz Cheney is going to have the opportunity to think about running for president here for quite some time because she's not going to be in Congress come January. My biggest fear right now is that the Republicans get that majority in the midterm election in November. They get in there in office in January, and it falls apart like the Tea Party victory fell apart in 2010. Have a plan and make it focus on the American people. Don't get wrapped up in trying to fight all these salacious cable news covered stories all the time where I could come on here every day and talk to you about the next thing in the pro-Trump, anti-Trump fight. Get back to America first. That's what Trump put out there for the people in the very beginning. America first. Key in on that. And I think if you do, the Trump stuff will follow. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back and talk to Robert C. Cahaly, one of our friends of the show here. He is the chief pollster and founder of the Trafalgar Group. We've had him on to talk about Missouri primary races, Illinois primary races, but they did a quick poll right after the raid on Mar-a-Lago, and they have some statistics, some data on how America reacted to that decision by our Justice Department to go all in on Mar-a-Lago and Trump's home. We'll talk to Robert C. Cahaly when we come back. Don't go away.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie. You got something to hide. We gon' burn the whole house down. This is a place for people to come together. Right here, right now. Make your voice heard. This is 97.1 FM Talk.
Slim 180 is the destination for me when it comes to weight loss. Now, I've had various things that have caused me over the course of the last 10 years of my life to gain weight. Had 4 kids. COVID happened. Everybody got stuck in their house. I'm in Illinois, so I'm surprised they even let us out to this point. A lot of people put on weight during COVID. And I think that it's something that we look at ourselves and we kind of have that feeling. Sometimes it's hard to say to ourselves, you know what? I do need to lose weight, because you're afraid, at least this has been my experience. What if I don't? What if I can't? What if I try and I fail? So what we do is we ignore it, we push it away, and we don't even try. Slim 180 is the answer for you. And I really want you to check out myslim180.com. That's myslim180.com. And learn about the different programs they have for you. I swear by the HCG program. That is how I have lost weight after each baby. That's how I have had success and gotten myself back to the healthy version of myself that makes me happy to be able to get in my closet, put on clothes in the morning, and have the energy to stay with my kids and keep up with my kids. They have multiple programs. If HCG isn't your thing, they have other programs, nutritional programs. They're going to help teach you how to lose the weight. And the most important part, keep it off. Learn all about Slim 180 online at myslim180.com.
Frederick Roofing, wherever you live. From Berkeley to Belleville to Richmond Heights to Melville, Glendale to Shrewsbury, the Central West End. Sunset Hills to Soulard, the one you know. Frederick Roofing, wherever you go. For a hole in your roof, for a whole new roof. Frederick Roofing.
314-645-2000. Aren't you tired of hearing ads that say they're the best, they're the experts, blah, 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 just one unsubstantiated claim after another? Well, here are 2 substantiated claims that actually mean something if you need roof repair or a new roof. With a family-owned business tradition of over 80 years and 80,000 satisfied customers, you can depend on Frederick Roofing, residential or commercial.
For a hole in your roof or a whole new roof. Frederick Roofing. Frederick Roofing, 645-2000.
If you filed a tax extension in April, don't wait until it's too late to handle your tax issues. Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Drury Law Firm. Every year, thousands of Missourians file extensions when their taxes are due in April. But what people don't know is the extension only moves your deadline to file your return, not to pay your taxes. So if you didn't pay anything back in April, you could now owe taxes plus interest plus penalties. You think you bought yourself time, but really you've just added to the total bill. If this sounds like you, call the Lance Drury Law Firm today. I am a local tax attorney with an A+ BBB rating, and I will meet with you right away to help handle your tax problems quickly. The deadline to file your return after an extension has already passed, so call the Lance Drury Law Firm now before it's too late. Remember, if you have IRS issues, you have legal issues. Call attorney Lance Drury, 314-260-6120, or go to Lance, DRURY law.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
But to have all of this stuff dredged up about Donald Trump relitigating, Hillary Clinton in 2016 and Russiagate and all of that, it probably fires up some Republican voters at the margins for sure, but it also might have some independents saying, oh gosh, we sort of wanted to get beyond this. Maybe I'm not so sure about which way I'm leaning in November, whereas Republicans would love it to be an up or down referendum on the ruling party and the job they've done so far, which I think objectively has been very bad.
So Guy Benson speaking about the direction that the Republican voters might be heading, of course, Democrats as well, but those independents in the middle. Last week, and a raid at Mar-a-Lago, you think that had any effect on it? Well, Robert C. Cahaly, he's the guy to go to who studies these things. He's the chief pollster and founder of the Trafalgar Group. And Robert C. Cahaly, back on with us on the Annie Frey Show right now. Welcome back to the show, Robert. Great to have you here.
Hey, good to be here. I'll tell you, we did some survey work, right? We were the first ones to do a post-raid survey. And what we found was the public evenly divided on this issue. The public evenly divided on this issue, but what we found more than anything was when you break it down by party, independents and nonpartisan folks were the most likely to be upset by it. So, for example, on the issue of was it justified? We had 50% were saying yes, it was justified, and we had 49% saying no. But among independents and no parties, we found that it was 60-40 no.
Wow.
So I think that what I've seen, and through every single one of our surveys, and we had asked 4 different questions on this issue. Every one of them had the independents were leaning to where the Republicans are. So, if anything, this kind of so many things have happened, but it's like yet another example of these institutions that the Republicans have been saying are fundamentally broken, proven to be so. I mean, the fact that Trump says I have video, they didn't want it videotaped, they didn't want his lawyers to see it. Unless some real big bombshell comes out, and there will be people will be suspect about whether it was even true. But we think that this thing is serving the Republicans well as kind of moving the independents more toward this idea that this government is not operating fairly.
Yeah.
That these institutions are fundamentally broken.
I think that's the key issue for most people paying attention to what took place last week. I would imagine it's pretty hard to sway people on Donald Trump at this point. You do more polling than I do for sure, but a lot of people have already decided, yeah, I'm for the guy. I think he did a good job, or I love the guy, or I can't stand him. They pretty much have parted ways, I would assume. But to have something like this happen, it almost makes me feel like if you're an independent voter and you see what took place last week, it's not just about Donald Trump. It's about the power of the federal government and what they can do if you're questioning whether or not it just serves the party in power's political needs.
Absolutely. And you bundle that with the same week this bill being passed that add more IRS agents. I mean, it is creating a perception of exactly what we're talking about, that this is the government that's overbearing, that's out of control. And, you know, we're still seeing forms of it as they try to re-COVID everyone and talk about moving back toward restrictions. They see all this happening, and you know, people understand. If you don't like what they did to Trump, imagine what double the amount of IRS agents will do to you. And the other thing is, so I don't think it moves people. It changes their opinion of Trump, but what it does do is it takes a segment of the Republicans who were that group that I always talk about, that were saying, hey, if he's running, if he's the nominee running against Biden, I'll vote for him. And then the ones who'd rather him just not run again, and it makes it that there's a number of that. That's about 30% of Republicans who will vote for him if he runs again, but would rather, you know, just they want to win and they're worried that he might not be the best candidate, and is taking that group and re-energizing them back to Trump.
Yeah, you know, I want to talk
and
about.
Saying, we have to make a point.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I've heard more of them say and gotten this feedback of Republicans that I know, and in the past have said that no, you know, maybe consider somebody different, but like, no, this is enough. This is across the line.
Yeah.
But it's like the only way to punish someone back for this is to give them what they want the least, which is Trump again.
We're speaking with Robert C. Cahaly, the chief pollster and founder of the Trafalgar Group. You can go to thetrafalgargroup.org to see the statistics and the graphs that they've put together on the polling that they did immediately following the FBI raid on President Trump's private residence at Mar-a-Lago. Talk to me about the studies that you did that asked people about what was the motivation behind this and the resulting factor of why people think that this took place.
Well, you know, we asked, was it, you know, was this, you know, legitimate, you know, part of doing the job, or did they think it had more to do with people's, whether it was like, you know, kind of partisan enemies? And what we found is, again, kind of followed on that same pattern of that the Democrats, you know, feel like, oh, it was, yeah, said it was, you know, part of the impartial justice system. But what we found is, again, the Republicans and the independents were along the same line. I mean, even among the whole group, it was only 48% said that there was political enemies, and that it was part of political, the normal process of justice system was 40%. And so, and then when you dig deeper into that thing, you find that the Democrats were way, you know, their numbers were, let's see, the Democrats were, that it was, you know, normal was 70%. But as far as political enemies on no party, they thought it was 53. And then, of course, Republicans were, you know, well over 75 at 76. So, you know, you got 53 and 76% of Republicans and 53% of independents think that it was political enemies that motivated this search. I mean, that tells you a lot right there, because it does go to that greater question of how powerful is this federal government, and you know, it is being marshaled against a former president, and just you know, as Trump said, they can do this to me, imagine what they do to you.
For sure. Yeah, it was a point that he made on a regular basis, that they're coming after the American people, that Donald Trump is just in the way. That was Donald Trump's perspective on it. Speaking with Robert C. Cahaly of the Trafalgar Group, he is their chief pollster and founder. I want to ask you about some of the other studies that I see here on the trafalgargroup.org that other people can look with their own eyes and study these graphs that you've put together. But we just came off of the primary in Wyoming yesterday. Liz Cheney suffered a pretty significant defeat because the American people, or the people of Wyoming, I should say, have had enough of her leadership in Congress. I wonder how you see in your polls that you've taken from state to state to state, different races, high profile races. You also do generic ballots as well. We're 84 days away from the midterm election right now. We hear about big red waves coming, and then we hear the Democrats saying that Joe Biden is back. What is your science telling you?
Well, I've always been one to tamp down the big red wave talk, because I believe that elections get tighter. I mean, it's easy months out to talk about how big the Republicans are going to win, but I'll split the difference there. I don't think it's a big red wave, but it's a red wave, and it is because of Biden. Biden isn't back. There's a separation between how people feel about Democrats and how they feel about Biden. They aren't the same thing anymore. And what we're seeing is we still see about a 5.3% advantage for the Republicans in the generic ballot. And let me tell you why it's better than that, because that's, again, a popular vote mechanism. Well, that's not the way these congressional districts come down. So that represents that there'll be a sizable pickup in the House, probably 10 to 30 seats. It can be anywhere in between, depending on a lot of things that are still yet to be seen with the economy and everything else. But what we're finding is this Biden's unpopularity. We have measured this in multiple states. And even when you take the full extreme and you say, if you had to pick between a candidate that you did not like personally, who would oppose the Biden agenda, and a candidate that you liked personally, who supported the Biden agenda, how would you vote? And in every single swing state we've measured so far, over 50% of the people will vote for someone they don't like who will oppose Biden versus a candidate they do like who will support Biden.
Wow. Yeah, that's
So
telling.
It's not even a matter of convincing people to like you. It's I ain't the Biden guy. Your commercial would be I'm not going to vote for what Biden wants. End of commercial.
Robert C. Cahaly with us right now. I'm looking at the generic ballot poll that you did, Republican candidate, people in general, for whom do you plan to vote in the upcoming 2022 congressional election on a generic ballot? 46.9% Republican candidate, 41.6% Democrat candidate, 11.5% undecided. That's still a tenth of the electorate still trying to figure out who they're going to vote for in the midterm elections. We talk about this when we have you on a regular basis, but your polling is very different than other people's polling. And you have a very good track record of consistently being very close to the target come election day. What do you do when it comes to Trafalgar group polls that other people aren't doing? And when you're talking about these 11.5% undecided, that factor on a generic ballot, who are the people that you're talking to? How do you choose them?
Well, first of all, one of the things that Trafalgar is different than everybody else is we don't believe in long questionnaires. We really don't believe in online panels. We get the question all the time, you do online panels. And I'm like, no. And why? I'll give you a really good reason. If you're an online panel, you ain't got nothing to do with an average person. Ain't an average person in this whole country ever thought, hey, I'd like to be on an online panel for a few months. That sounds entertaining. That is not a real human being. That is not somebody who is a regular swing voter. Yes, they're a real human being, but my point is that is not a real voter. That person is far too engaged in politics. Average voters are not that engaged. So when they sell you these polls with 30 questions or 50 questions or online panels, they are selling you pseudoscience. It is not real. Average people do not participate. If you want to be in one of our polls, it's real simple. Register to vote. Make sure that your email and your cell phone number are either part of your voter registration or at least in your consumer data, and you got as good a chance as the other 200 million people that are being called. It's that simple. There's no trick. It's that simple. If you are a real person and a real voter, you got a shot at being contacted.
You probably know more than most how other polling groups are doing their studies. Are those other poll groups ever more invested in the outcome than they are in like a specific outcome? Can they contrive how they seek out information to produce a result that they want to be able to publicize?
No, that never happened. No one in the media or academic university polls they never do a poll trying to figure out what they're trying to.
I sense some sarcasm.
Yes, absolutely. It is the biggest sham you've ever seen. It is so frustrating. And you see stuff, nonsense, names that you've heard of, networks who put registered voters. Come on, registered voters, discount that. If it is not likely voters, if you're not really, you've got to be real with this stuff. I mean, it is not about a narrative. It is not about making corporate master happy. It ought to be about getting it right. But remember, there is no punishment for getting it wrong. There are no university professors who get fired when their polls consistently suck. There are no heads of networks who fire the polling companies when their polls consistently suck. So get used to it. Because if their goal was to get it right, they'd have gotten fired. But if their goal was to reflect the academic or corporate agenda, they wouldn't have got fired. They didn't get fired. So you figure it out.
Yeah. Well, that's my question. Always when I see this, is your polling group to inform or to influence? And usually if it's to influence, it doesn't really matter how right you are, because what happens in the end is it's not the important part. It's how you influence in the midst of an election like this, which is why I love having you on. Yeah, because
is your goal to reflect or affect the electorate?
That's perfect. Well, thank you so much, Robert C. Cahaly, the TrafalgarGroup.org. You need to be connected to this website to pay attention. I mean, you've been spot on so far. I'm looking forward to some more Missouri, Illinois opportunities to talk to you. You still think that Illinois might be a tighter race than Illinois generally is for maybe that governor spot?
I mean, we'll see. There's a lot of money being spent. It's going to be really tight. I think that the Missouri came out very much kind of where we thought it would, and I think there'll probably be a much easier race in the fall for the Senate.
Yeah, well, I think your races, your primary studies so far have been spot on. So we'll keep following up with you, keep doing what you do, and we will keep telling the people about it. Thank you for your time today. We're grateful for it.
Thank you. Y'all have a good day.
You as well. Robert C. Cahaly, the chief pollster and founder of the Trafalgar Group. Go to the TrafalgarGroup.org. The only thing that interview was missing was a bless their heart.
That's awesome.
I like where he said, because you're going through this conversation and doesn't he wear a bow tie? Is he a bow tie guy?
I've never seen a picture of him.
Oh, I'm gonna find it. I think he's a bow tie guy.
Can I be honest though? He sounds like he wears a bow tie.
No, fantastic. He sounds smart. And when you're listening to him talk about this, and then he goes, the reason their polls sucks. I'm like, now we're in where we need to be. Now we're starting to get cozy and roll the sleeves up. Robert C. Cahaly, always great to have him on the show. When we come back, we're going to talk to Ryan Wiggins and Wiggins America and how technology is influencing sports, some consequences levied recently in quite an interesting way, people being exposed for using technology in sports. Ryan will give us the details when we come back. Don't go away.
Tennessee whiskey.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
You're a sweet strawberry wine.
Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Frey Show.
You're as warm.
The Mark Reardon Show.
Jim Meggs is a senior fellow at the Manhattan Institute.
We keep hearing about climate. We keep getting other priorities jammed in. Is it about healthcare? Is it about reducing inflation?
Weekdays from 3 to 6 on 97.1 FM Talk.
TheDiamondShop.net is the website. And I'd like to point this out every once in a while, but the Diamond Shop is an original sponsor of the Annie Frey Show. I mean, they were with me when I was on Saturdays 6 years ago. I love the Diamond Shop and they love you. They love meeting you. And I'm pretty confident when you meet them, you'll feel the exact same about this family owned and operated business since 1910 in Clayton. You go into this shop and you get to experience the best customer service with the most beautiful jewelry in town. Now, why make the time to go to Clayton and to go in the store? Because through August, they have the opportunity to save up to 70% off in-stock jewelry. Beautiful things, 6 months, same as cash. Now would be a great time to go in and check out the beautiful inventory they have and maybe check a Christmas gift off the list, a holiday gift for a loved one or even for yourself. Don't put yourself last, of course. Reach out to them and talk to them about becoming a VIP, and make sure that you tell them Annie Frey Show sent you. You can find all the information online at thediamondshop.net.
Hi guys, it's Andrew. Are you struggling with erectile dysfunction and sick of the pills? Well, today, Wednesday, August 17th, we're running a one-day special you won't want to miss out on. Pineview Medical Clinic uses the most powerful form of wave therapy. This is a technology clinically shown to repair blood vessels and improve blood flow. Even Cambridge has studied our technology. If you're ready to transform your love life, grab your phone. Today is your day. Call us now and you'll qualify for the assessment and ultrasound totally free. Also, a gift that can produce powerful results in the bedroom in minutes. You're going to love that, guys. And today only, we're offering 6 tune-up treatments to our patients free. This has never been offered before and is worth $1,200, but call today, Wednesday, and qualify totally free. 314-530-7777. That's 314-530-7777. Guys, put a stop to your erectile dysfunction and get your love life back. Call Pineview Medical Clinic now to qualify. This offer ends today. 314-530-7777.
Updating your home with James Hardie Siding has never been more popular. With all the options available, you need a partner to maximize your investment. The rising prices on vinyl siding has made Hardie Siding a great alternative. Siding Express is ready to refresh the appearance of your home or totally transform the look by installing Hardie Shake, board and batten, lap siding, or a stone accent to make it your dream home again. Siding Express is an elite preferred James Hardie contractor. Need ideas? Go to sidingexpress.com and schedule a free, no-obligation consultation today.
At Cordell & Cordell, we focus on representing men in domestic relations cases.
Attorney CPA Joe Cordell.
We recognize that our clients are going through perhaps the toughest time they will ever go through. We understand that everything that's important to them is on the table. Their assets, the role in their children's lives. That's an immense responsibility that our clients entrust us with, and we take that very seriously. We've been trained to do that. We've helped thousands of clients before, and it's our hope that you'll choose to entrust us with what's most important to you.
The attorneys at Cordell & Cordell work to help men maximize their role in their children's lives, which includes protecting men's financial means to do so. Contact Cordell & Cordell to schedule an appointment with one of our firm's St. Louis area attorneys, a partner men can count on. 600 Kelwood Parkway, Suite 310, Town & Country, Missouri, 63017. Online at CordellCordell.com. That's CordellCordell.com. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Mark Cox here. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call Thomas Helbig with the Retirement Advisory Group at 314-993-9494. He'll show you how to participate in the market gains without ever losing a penny. Thomas is the official financial advisor of the Mark Cox Morning Show.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Studio. In addition to heating and cooling, Air Comfort Service also offers indoor air quality, water heater, and AeroSeal duct sealing services. Get in your comfort zone with aircomfortservice.com.
Information to keep you moving. Dependable traffic mornings and afternoons with Sue Thomas. Driven by Ambassador Midwest Floor Company, the best way to deal with in-home traffic. Experience more at Ambassador Midwest Floor.
Now that she's back in the atmosphere with drops of Jupiter in her head. She acts like summer and walks like rain. Reminds me that there's a time to change. Since the return,
you ever played with a phone in your pocket? No. I mean, we didn't have cell phones back when I played. I don't understand that even a little bit.
It's Rodolfo Castro is apparently playing with his phone. Watch when Castro slides into third. His phone comes out of his pocket. Now that's a first. And there's Adam Hammery. Dude, your phone is down there. Hey, right there.
Wiggins!
Oh!
Wiggins! Well, I don't know about you guys, but when I first heard that story, I thought, it's a very human moment, but there's actually a lot more layers to that moment than meets the eye because we've all just dropped our phone.
Can you explain what happened?
I can. So Rodolfo Castro, he's a Pirates infielder. He was on the field. Was he sliding, Brad? Is that what caused the actual?
Have you seen the video?
Out? It's been 10 days.
Yeah, I saw the video. He was sliding in, and it just pops out of his back pocket.
Yeah, so he had it in his back pocket, and he's going down, and
he slides head first into third,
right?
And he kind of rounds third, I think, to avoid a tag, and it just boop pops right out.
Yeah, so his cell phone's out, and people go, "Uh-oh," because A, human moment, but B, that is very, very much against Major League Baseball's policy on electronic devices. So the update is that Rodolfo Castro for the Pirates has been suspended for 1 game and fined an undisclosed amount for violating Major League Baseball's electronic device policy. The MLB made the announcement yesterday. Castro has appealed, so we'll see if this actually sticks.
Can you explain why the policy is in place?
And this is the issue really at hand, is he could use, and anybody could use, an electronic device to maybe be sending signals, to take video. Not that he was going to do that, but theoretically you could do that nowadays.
Well, I guess like if you're standing on second base, I don't know how you could send it without everybody seeing you pull your phone out and send a text
if you had a phone in your back pocket and someone could make your phone vibrate if they saw a fastball being called,
that's true.
That's a huge deal.
Yeah, I was thinking like if you're on second base, you could relay.
It's not for him to set. I don't think that the worry is that he's gonna. I mean, like, what's the little guy Altuve from Houston?
Yeah, cheater.
He was wearing a wire on him, and if there's any type of signal that you can send. There is so much money involved in Major League Baseball, so much money being involved. You think about people who cheat the game and you find out 6 months after they just signed a big, huge, gigantic contract, Tatis Jr., and you realize that they sucked up all this money that the Padres are investing in this person. And they say, here, we're investing in you. You're the future. We're building this team around you. And then they're gone for 80 days. What happens to the Padres? They just got Hans. They just got Soto, and Soto is supposed to be part of the Tatis Jr. package. Tatis Jr. is not playing right now. Although he says, do you believe at all that Tatis Jr., because I read a whole article on it last night, he got ringworm from a haircut, and the ointment that he used is what caused him. Like, if that's true.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not asking you if it's possible it's true, but if that's true, if he was using that, because Tatis Sr., Fernando Tatis, Fernando Tatis, was saying that none of the drug that he tested positive for, none of it is performance enhancing. Like, there's no testosterone in what he's taking. There was no, it sets off a test. And this was an interview with Fernando Tatis Sr. and Hector Gomez, who's a legit reporter. That if it's not going to, if it was because he got a haircut and got a fungal infection and he put a cream on it and it tipped it off. I mean, to me, I read the whole article and I thought, well,
I guess too, like if you look at that and you like, if it's not a performance enhancing drug, why is it banned? Why is it on the PED list? Why would well, he wasn't ingesting it. It was topical. That's different. I mean, there are ways you can eat a poppy seed bagel and test positive for opiates or whatever it is.
That's what I always say when I go into my drug tesing.
Yeah, at Odyssey.
I just had a poppy seed bagel.
They're like, you're positive. You can work here. Just kidding.
Yeah.
Come be in radio. But there are ways that you can. I mean, if you take the HCG, if you do the HCG program at Slim 180, you're gonna. You could pee on a pregnancy test and it would be positive.
Ooh, sounds kind of fun.
Yeah. Never mind. I was going to say something that I shouldn't say. So anyway, but I mean, like, there's a lot of ways to cheat, and all of these ways that cheat, like if the Pirates player was using this as a way to cheat, there's a lot of money, contracts,
exactly.
All of that stuff is involved. No cheating.
And I've come full circle on this because, like I said at the beginning, when he first saw the video, you're like, he's dropped his phone. But when you start to consider all of what you were just saying, I'm thinking a 1-game suspension is actually pretty light. Now, they know. I mean, we can watch. He wasn't trying to cheat. We don't think. I mean, we don't think he was trying to cheat.
We have no idea.
Don't say we.
It looks
Nobody
innocuous.
knows.
We don't know for sure. But that's why they probably should take that more seriously. And this just happened too. A live TV feed was shown in the Diamondbacks dugouts during a game within the last couple of days. You can't do that.
No.
You can't watch live feed of the game going on, and you can see that this happened. Now, it's in their defense. They said everybody away from the TV. They all moved away from it because it was something they didn't have control over. Somebody up in a booth was supposed to be showing the bullpen, that's why they have the TV down there.
So the wrong feed got sent?
Wrong feed was sent, and so they're seeing the live game. You can't do that. But all of this is just to say, to me, why don't we just get rid of electronics out of this at all? Because it's going to continue to become a problem. They need to crack down on it
because there is so much money involved in it, and anything that makes Albert Pujols get closer to 700 home runs in technology. Albert Pujols sits in the dugout and looks at a tablet the entire game. And then another reason why we signed Albert Pujols, the intangibles, at least in the statistics line, is the fact that all of these young players go and sit and absorb like a sponge anything Albert has to say, and he's studying technology makes the game better. Technology makes the player better. The better the players are, the more people buy tickets. The more people buy tickets, the more money is made. The more money that's made, the bigger contracts they can sign. The bigger contracts they can sign, the more these people want to cheat.
And I guess ultimately, you could just go bang on a trash can just the same as using a television, right?
Well, they used a
not
television.
Anymore.
That's right. That was all part of it. That's right.
Cheating sucks. Don't do it. Verdict's still out for me on Tatis Jr., but it doesn't look good. Deroy, Murdock, when we come back.
This is a great time of the year to upgrade the energy efficiency in your home with my friends at Window World. Mark Cox here to tell you more about my experience with Window World. They replaced a couple of windows at my house. They were just panes of glass. We wanted to be able to get some airflow the master bathroom. They came out, they gave us a free estimate, and then had the windows at seams installed in no time. Very professional, lifetime warranty I get, and you get an extra double strength glass on their replacement windows that's not common. So you're getting a great price, simply the best for less. They do front entry doors, rear entry doors. If you're looking to replace that back door or sliding glass door in your home, they've got a great selection at Window World. They're also right now offering 18 months, same as cash financing, of course, with approved credit. The preferred window of the St. Louis Blues, 314-993-1800. windowworld.com.
Well, this is a fun endorsement for me to make for Andrea's because I just went there last night for my anniversary, so I can't speak highly enough about, hey, it's 1:00. At this point, I will have eaten probably 2 lunches. I'm still full from last night. I haven't even eaten lunch yet today, Brad. Can you believe that? It's 1:00. That's because I didn't give him a chance to talk. That's because you get so much food when you go there. And for me and my wife, we always talk when we go to Andrea's restaurant in O'Fallon, Illinois. What are you going to get? But it's kind of a dumb question because we always end up getting the giant filet. A lot of people love their strip steak. You can take a plate out of your house, a standard plate that you use for dinner. The strip steak at Andrea's is bigger than the plate. It's enormous, and so are their fillets. They have a small menu for that reason. Whatever you order is going to be fantastic. So highly recommend you go to Andrea's restaurant in O'Fallon, Illinois sometime soon. All the sides are included. That's one of the great things about it. And you can get their sauce at Schnucks and Dierbergs and Straub's or at Andreas.com. Or, of course, you can pick some up at the restaurant.
Hello, this is Dave Walker, former Comptroller General of the United States. The federal government has grown dramatically, promised too much, lost control of its budget, and must restructure its finances in order to create a better future.
I agree, Dave. This is Ken Heisey from Heisey Advisory Group, and you're invited to a special event on Thursday, August 25th. Dave and I will talk about our country's financial issues and how they may impact your retirement. Learn why it's critical to take action now and discover strategies that can help protect your future. If you've saved at least $750,000 for retirement, call 314-328-6000 to register for this special event. After a decades-long mission to promote fiscal responsibility at all levels of government, you won't want to miss what Dave has to say. Call 314-328-6000.
Dave Walker is not affiliated with and does not endorse Heisey Advisory Group or AE Wealth Management, LLC. Heisey Advisory Group may not provide tax advice and is not affiliated with the U.S. government. Investment advisory services offered through AE Wealth Management, LLC.
KFTK FM Florissant, driven by the Bomarito Automotive Group, 97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
A new fight for the former president. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. The same federal judge who green-lighted the raid on the Trump estate in Florida holds a hearing tomorrow over unsealing the affidavit that led to the search.
DOJ right now, Department of Justice, saying they want that affidavit to remain sealed. They've expressed concerns that if it is opened, it could compromise their investigation. They've also expressed concerns that opening the affidavit could endanger some of the witnesses that they've spoken to. On the opposite side, former President Trump, He wants the affidavit to be released, entirely unredacted. But most legal analysts at this point say that is not likely to happen.
Fox's Steve Harrigan in Palm Beach. Former Vice President Mike Pence speaking out against calls to defund the FBI over the Trump raid, saying at a New Hampshire event it's just as wrong as a push by Democratic activists to shift money from police. China will send troops to Russia for joint military exercises later this month. The Chinese Defense Ministry denying it's connected to Russia's war in Ukraine or the recent visits to Taiwan by 2 U.S. congressional delegations. The U.S. recently holding joint drills with 14 allies in Indonesia.
This was the largest joint military exercise between the U.S. and its Pacific allies since the drills were established in 2009. In the past 15 days since Speaker Pelosi's congressional visit to Taiwan, China has flown over 500 warplanes near Taiwan.
Fox's Jennifer Griffin. We're also just learning about a recent U.S. drone strike on suspected al-Qaeda-linked terrorists.
The Pentagon says a drone strike over the weekend killed 13 members of the Al-Shabaab terrorist group in Somalia. Official word of the strike came from U.S. Africa Command. No civilians were killed or injured in the initial assessment. The drone strike was in coordination with the federal government of Somalia.
Fox's Jared Halpern. America is listening to Fox News.
The roar of our engines, the pump of our heartbeats, the pedal to our metal, the sparks that ignite us, the pistons that push us, the passions that drive us. From the feelings that move us to the places that pull us on the roads that unite us. With nearly 6,000 stores and over 17,000 auto care centers, Napa has America's largest network of parts and care, here to keep you firing on all cylinders.
Every search you make, every click you take, they'll be watching you.
Tired of companies like Google and Facebook watching everything you do online? There's actually a simple solution. DuckDuckGo. It's an all-in-one privacy app with a built-in private search engine, web browser, one-click data clearing, email protection, and more, all for free. Download the app today and get the most comprehensive privacy protection with a push of a button. DuckDuckGo. Privacy simplified.
Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling weather with Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Kind of gloomy, damp, and cool going through our Tuesday afternoon. Cloud showers. Still could be a rumble of thunder, a flash of lightning, but that's very limited. Only 74 for the high. Tonight, cloud showers, a rumble, everything fading well after midnight. 62 for the low, but the evening will be a little bit wet. Wednesday, clouds going to sunshine and 78, 82, and sunny on Thursday. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
It's happening right here, right now.
Remember, the National Archives are the ones that referred this to the Department of Justice, but they, the same principal, failed to refer Hillary Clinton to the Department of Justice when they got their hands on the classified emails from those servers.
This has never happened in U.S. history, a president's home being raided. If these documents are so sensitive, nuclear secrets, why did the Justice Department wait so long? What's the urgency here?
This is 97.1 FM Talk.
Michael's Flooring Outlet, easy to find online at igotfloored.com, your destination in St. Louis for the very best in customer service. That matters a lot when you're making an investment like flooring. You can go to a whole host of different places in St. Louis on both sides of the river and shop for flooring. You can go to places that aren't dedicated to flooring but have flooring and make your purchase there. I want to tell you why Michael's is different, because the customer sales staff that they have there, they're incredibly knowledgeable when it comes to flooring, but they can also work in your aesthetics that you're looking for. If you want to have carpet, but you don't know, do I need to invest in this? Or do I need to invest in that? Do I want the Mohawk Smart Strand hypoallergenic, or maybe you want something for pets? All of the different kinds of flooring that they have there, they can listen to you, your goal, your dream of what you want your flooring to do in your home or your place of work, and they can take your budget and get you the best possible match for all of those different entities. Michael's Flooring Outlet has been around for over a quarter century in St. Louis for a reason, because they have you at the center of their process. You can find out all the information online at igotfloored.com.
I'm Thomas Helbig with the Retirement Advisory Group. I'm proud to say we are a family business. Through innovative financial tools, my nephew Bob and I are committed to making sure your retirement nest egg is kept safe from market declines. As a matter of fact, we have never lost a dime of our clients' money, and we won't lose any of yours either.
Hi, I'm Bob Kershaw, and the secret is in linking safely to the market without putting your principal at risk. As we look ahead at the likelihood of increasing volatility in the market, it's important that you protect your nest egg from market losses, as that's the engine that drives your retirement income.
Our family would like to help your family retire comfortably and keep your retirement safe and secure. Call us now for a no-cost, no-obligation retirement review. And just for coming in, you'll get a copy of my second edition book, Your Key to a Worry-Free Retirement. We've been helping retirees and pre-retirees retire with confidence for 36 years. Call us now, 314-993-9494, or online at retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
Oh, Hank, what a wonderful spider web you have built for us. I love this fabulous space we have right here in the corner of the kitchen.
Thanks, Charlotte. I think I'll build us a vacation web in the coat closet. Maybe even one in Susie's room, too. Oh no, it's the pest control company again with those green wheels. They always kill the mood.
This is Derek, the owner of All Solutions Pest Control. Give us a call today at 636-486-7888.
If a pest-free home is your goal, call All Solutions Pest Control.
If you haven't tried out Zero Res or it's been months since your last deep clean, then now is the time to call. Get your entire home Zero Resified from St. Louis's best carpet cleaner and get the KFTK Mark Reardon special. 20% off all cleaning services. Call 314-474-2020 or book online at ZeroResSTL.com.
Tune into the Del Walmsley Radio Show. Del, self-made millionaire and founder of Lifestyles Unlimited, will show you how to live the life of your dreams and pay for it with passive income.
Listen to the Del Walmsley Radio Show this Saturday afternoon from 1 to 2 p.m. on 97.1 FM Talk.
Want to listen to 97.1 outside the listening area? There's an app for that. Download the Odyssey app, and one tap will turn the station on. The Odyssey app for 97.1 FM Talk.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
Right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong. I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. It's Wednesday. We're glad that you were here, and lots to talk about in the wake of the primary last night, the direction that the Republican Party is headed, the direction the Democrat Party is headed, and what this administration is really trying to do to control the narrative. Are they having any success in doing so? To get his reaction on last night and the way the Biden administration has handled a lot of these news stories lately, Deroy Murdock joined us once again, a nationally syndicated columnist, Fox News contributor. Welcome back to the show, Deroy. We're always glad to have you here. Surprise news about Liz Cheney last night in Wyoming?
Annie, great to be with you. No big surprise. I think people expected her to lose. I think it was ultimately, a 30-point loss she had to the Trump approved and endorsed candidate Hageman, and that's a very Republican state. So I think that she probably will go on to hold that seat, win that seat in November. But yeah, she was Liz Cheney was expected to lose, and she lost. Wasn't even close. Wasn't narrow. Yeah. It was a big 30-point loss, and I think it's a combination of the fact that she voted for impeachment. She's on the January 6th committee. And if she had left it at that, that might have been one thing. But she's just been banging this anti-Trump drum over and over and over in the state that I believe is the one that he carried by the biggest margin in 2016 and 2020. So, she might be able to get away with this sort of thing if she were from Connecticut or New Jersey or Illinois. But to be in the most pro-Trump state, being arguably the most anti-Trump member of Congress, was just a recipe for disaster for her. She never got that message, and rather than focus, as so many of us have done, on all the amazingly positive things he did, she focused strictly on his personality, quirks, and eccentricities, and then bought into all of the lies about January 6th. This was all a giant plot that he cooked up, and that all of the questions about the November 20 election are wrong. If you have any doubts about the integrity of that election, then you've bought into the big lie. It's all a big conspiracy, and on and on. And I think the Republican voters of Wyoming just said enough is enough, and they gave her pink slip last night. And I think it was a very well-deserved one.
We're speaking with Deroy Murdock, with Fox News contributor, and I want to talk to you about your op-ed that you have on foxnews.com. You say Democrats' tax and spend extravaganza will turn IRS into internal repression service. The Biden administration now going to take a victory lap, I guess, around the country, celebrating this and, I guess, air quotes, selling it to the American people. You think they're going to have any success persuading Americans that, hey, things are looking up?
I don't think so. Look, I think that most people don't believe that this bill is going to do what it says, which is reduce inflation. Most people expect it to have either no impact on inflation or actually increase inflation. I don't know any economist who says in the middle of a recession you should raise taxes, and the middle of the biggest inflationary increase since the early 1980s, that the smart thing to do is increase government spending. Most economists would say you should do exactly the opposite in each case, and yet we're getting this massive increase in spending. We've got all sorts of anti-business taxes, which will slow the economy down even further. And then we're going to spend $80 billion now to hire almost 87,000 new IRS agents. And these people will be getting very busy auditing everyday Americans, not just billionaires. If they were just going to focus on billionaires, there are only 735 American billionaires. That would come out to 118 IRS agents per billionaire. Rather than that, what these people are going to be doing is auditing all sorts of folks who don't make millions, don't make billions, and instead make tens of thousands of dollars a year, like a lot of people listening to our voices right now. And the IRS already does lots and lots and lots of audits on people making, $25,000 a year, $35,000 a year, $45,000 a year, and now rather than have about 86,000 of them as they have now, the size of the IRS is going to increase by 93%. And these people will be running around after all of us, trying to shake more money out of our pockets that can pay for all this far-left Democrat spending.
The consistent thing that the Biden administration, the Democratic Party of today, seems to have is the be-all, end-all knowledge of how to live our own lives better, and the willingness to just, keep their heads down and push through their legislation, their policies, regardless of what the American people are actually experiencing in the moment. So much so that the Pete Buttigieg's of the world will tell you, this is part of the transition. They're just basically saying, deal with it. It's going to get better. And if you don't think it's going to get better, then you're not paying attention to what the end goal is here. It's as if there's a hive mind about this, and the suffering of average middle-class earning American citizens is just part of the process that they need to affect the change that they want.
No, this is exactly right. And look, they've had opportunities to try to shield regular Americans from this sort of nonsense. There was an amendment by Mike Crapo, a U.S. Republican senator from Idaho, and he had an amendment a couple weekends ago when they were voting on this so-called Inflation Reduction Act, and it very simply would have said that the IRS money cannot be spent to conduct audits on Americans who make anything less than $400,000. So it would shield not even billionaires and millionaires, but people making just under $500,000 from being audited. And every Republican voted for that measure, and every single Democrat senator voted against it, every single solitary one. So this is why it's important come November that people stop voting Democrat, start voting Republican, and not put into office the kind of folks who will say, yeah, let's send in 87,000 brand new IRS agents. And by the way, yes, please go ahead and audit people who make less than $400,000 a year. The Democrats could have shielded all those people and said, don't leave them alone. Focus on the people making $500,000 and more. Nope. The Democrats said, yeah, go ahead and audit people making $25,000 a year, $50,000 a year, $75,000 a year, $100,000 a year. And the Democrats are supposed to be, we're the party of the little guy. We stand up for the little guy. No. They had the opportunity to do that, and every single solitary Senate Democrat voted no on that measure. Shame on them, and every voter should remember that as we go to the polls over the next few months.
The inflationary numbers that they've come down to 8.5%. Gas is down to just under $4. These are victories that we hear promoted. I see it especially from the White House Facebook page. It's just the most out of touch way of celebrating what they're considering to be small victories, sometimes large victories. And I think about it's the economy, stupid. Of course, that's the thing that permeates any election and all elections. But before the economy ended up taking a turn for the worse, there are a lot of things that affected American voters, like freedom to choose whether or not to wear a mask or to get a shot or not to get a shot. classroom decisions that were being made in spite of parents and in secret from parents, that we're getting a whole host of people who may not normally be the most politically motivated and active people to get involved, so much so that we're seeing them actually running in races, not just complaining to school boards. There's a lot of issues that don't boil up to the surface right now that I think still affect voters and how they intend to vote in November. I'm wondering if you think that the economy is still going to be the prevailing thing, or if those issues are still important in the minds of voters across the country.
I think it will be a number of things. Certainly, the economy and inflation, as you say. The White House is saying, well, the month-on-month, year-on-year inflation last month went from 9.1 to I think it was 8.75, if I remember correctly. And so this means, okay, inflation's done, it's taken care of, it's gone. No, it's still very high. If you have as I heard somebody say the other day, if you have a 104 temperature and it goes down to 103.5, that's good. It's moving in the right direction. But guess what? You still have 103.5 temperature. So you need to stay in bed and take whatever drugs you need and do what you can to get your temperature back to normal. You still have a very bad fever. So let's not pretend that the inflation fever has gone away. It's still very much there, even though it's improved a little bit. But I think people are going to be concerned about that. The fact that we've completely lost our energy independence. The fact the southern border is, I put in quotes, the quote border unquote, is anything but. It's basically a conveyor belt to bring people from 160 different countries around the world into the U.S. They get free cell phones. They get free bus tickets. Now they're getting free hotel rooms in Times Square, courtesy of my mayor, Eric Adams here. It's just mind-blowing. And then in terms of the school system, you've got the critical race theory still being taught. You've got kids being told, well, you're white, that's a problem for you. Shame on you for being white. We've got Minneapolis. The new teachers contract says that if there are going to be layoffs, white teachers have to be fired first before any black teachers, independent of any competence or seniority or ability to actually to teach kids. And then you've got this all this gender theory. Little boys and girls that go to school and their teachers tell them, well, you're not really a little boy, you're a little girl, and you're not a little girl, you're really a little boy. I heard recently that there's someone's got this sort of website where students who are going through, or children who are going through this gender questioning, can get puberty blockers independent of their parents and take them when their parents aren't looking. I mean, there's a lot that is completely out of control, and it's not just the economy, not just inflation. I think something like 75% of Americans think the country is on the wrong track. So I think there'll be many issues people will be considering in November. And the advice again I give to people is stop voting Democrat. You look at each one of these issues: crime, the border, inflation, and you've got the Democrats pushing the wrong things with tremendous energy. And even when people say this hurts, stop, they still keep saying, sit down and take it, and keep suffering. And the sooner these people are out of office and back in the private sector with the rest of us, the sooner this country will get back on track.
Deroy Murdock with us right now. I want to key in on some of those issues that you were talking about there. It's ironic to me that, of course it was sparked largely because of the George Floyd situation, but that summer of 2020, we were willing to sacrifice our country's cities because people were upset, and we permitted, it's like we had a societal compact that we were just going to allow for a lot of this destruction and violence to take place in the name of something that was deemed to be worthy of that type of reaction. And a lot of people were questioning law enforcement. I mean, the idea of saying the phrase Blue Lives Matter was controversial to support law enforcement. We attacked law enforcement. Now that the FBI has raided Mar-a-Lago, I see many people, of course, trolling on the internet, but in conversation as well, criticizing the Republicans because now they don't support law enforcement. I'm curious about your thoughts on law enforcement in this country, why it was the key issue leading into the 2020 election. And now we have an administration that wants to back law enforcement, just the feds that end up having to work for them, that they can send and do what they send them to do.
Yeah, I do find it kind of hilarious that the same Democrat left, which said defund the police, anybody in a uniform with a badge and a gun is evil and terrible. Now they just voted the other day, and Biden signed just yesterday, this bill to give us 87,000 new IRS agents, many of which will be armed with guns and ammo and
with guns,
Kevlar vests. I thought these were bad people. I thought these are the bad guys. But here, the same Democrats saying, okay, now we're going to put more people on the streets with guns and ammo and uniforms. I thought these were the worst people on the planet. But I guess if they're trying to save you and your neighbors and your family and loved ones from killers coming in, breaking into your house and trying to kill you, those guys are bad. But the ones who want to come in and turn you upside down and shake all the money in your pockets, those are the good guys. Those are the cops that they want to fund. So yeah, there's a tremendous hypocrisy here on the part of the left. And I think also people will, as people go to the polls come November, people are going to look at the magic of the whole defund the police, demonize the police movement. And rather than create conditions, quote, like a suburb, unquote, as Congresswoman AOC of New York predicted, you've got, I think, 16 cities last year which had all-time high records for homicide. We're not talking about, purse snatching or shoplifting, which are bad enough, but people are ending up in caskets with their loved ones gathered around them as they lower their coffins into the ground in 16 cities across America in record numbers in our entire history. And these are the bitter and poisonous fruits that are coming off of the Democrat left tree, as they promise all these beautiful things. And what we get is ugliness, poverty, chaos, and ultimately death as a result of the ideas of the Democrat left. So again, the sooner people stop voting Democrat, the better off this country will be.
Deroy Murdock, on point as always. We love talking to you. We look forward to having you back next week.
Likewise, Annie. We'll talk to you soon. Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye-bye. Nationally syndicated columnist, Fox News contributor, and a founding member of Project 21. Project21.org, a really, really interesting collection of individuals who are fighting for common sense to be restored in this country. You can check them out at project21.org. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, I'm going to dive into this just a little bit. We're going to talk to the rest of the crew about it here as well. Today's YouTube live chat poll, I haven't said it on the air yet, but man, we are getting some feedback in the comments, and I want to get yours also. Here's the YouTube live chat poll. What's your biggest pet peeve? Is it slow drivers in the fast lane, mouth noises or loud eaters, grammar errors, or something else? And if it's something else, we want you to leave a comment. We're going to highlight those in the 2:00 hour. We might have to start earlier than 2:45 getting to all of your comments. But we're kind of curious about those pet peeves out there. So give us a vote, give us a comment. We'll be back with a little discussion on that when we come back.
The past is gone.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie. Here's 97.1 insider Jessie Jane Duff.
To suggest like he nefariously smuggled the stuff out of the White House, it is up to the discretion of the president to declassify any document.
97.1 FM Talk.
So we are past halfway through August. Now, August is generally speaking a toasty month here in St. Louis. But it is time when you start thinking about pumpkins and fall things and apples and all that. Make sure your air conditioner is your furnace is one of those things that you think of when you move into the direction of fall. Is your furnace in good working order? Are you sure that it is going to operate the way you expect it to? Of course, with energy costs going up, you want to make sure that it is not going to be something that will crap out on you in the middle of the winter. Now is a great time to reach out to Air Comfort Service and schedule a tune-up on your furnace, and you can have them come check your air conditioner as well while they are there. Air Comfort Service is reliable. They are honest. They are good people. And if you don't want to take my word for it, check out their online reviews. They are stellar. You can call them at 314-513-0091. That's 314-513-0091. Online at aircomfortservice.com.
Feeling the pinch of higher prices?
Golden Oak Lending can save you money with their low fixed rates.
James Hawkins here, president of Golden Oak. You can offset today's high prices by using the low interest equity in your home to pay off credit cards, make home improvements, or simply put cold hard cash back in your pocket.
Start saving money and skip 2 mortgage payments. Call 314-567-GOLD today.
Golden Oak Landing, short hot blue.
NMLS 114937.
This is Andy Berg, board-certified master arborist with Hanson's Tree Service. Maintaining healthy trees in our urban environment is a challenge, and our trees often don't perform how we'd like. Go to hansonstree.com to find out how we can service your trees today.
If your business has accounting problems, you probably have tax problems. Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm in St. Louis. Running a small business is tough, and it's no surprise that companies that don't keep good books often run into tax issues. If you don't fix your accounting problems, you could be doomed to land in the same tax pitfalls every year. Call the Lance Drury Law Firm today. I can help you get out of tax trouble and stay out. If your small business doesn't have a CPA or accountant, I can help you find one. And if you already have one, I work closely with them to resolve your tax problems quickly. Make no mistake, if the numbers don't add up, the IRS will catch it. Fix your accounting and tax problems before they snowball with help from the Lance Drury Law Firm. Remember, if you have IRS issues, you have legal issues. Call attorney Lance Drury, 314-260-6120, or go to Lance, DRURY law.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
I'm back to doing what I love and more. Thanks to the Good Feet store.
Hi, this is Arnold, owner of the Good Feet store. Have you been suffering with foot pain, knee pain, low back pain, or plantar fasciitis? Maybe you've tried all kinds of remedies with no relief.
It was terrible. I was in tears a lot. It hurt that bad. For 2 years, I was watching these commercials thinking, this can't be real. You know, you're never going to find out if you don't try. So my legs and my feet do not hurt like they did before Good Feet.
Call 314-317-9494 or visit one of our 2 locations on Olive, Catty Corner from TGI Fridays, or in Shiloh, Illinois, across from Deerberg's.
Thanks to the Good Feet store.
Individual results may vary. Consult your physician for medical conditions. Visit the website goodfeetstlewis.com. Come in and try the Good Feet feeling today. Comfort, energy, performance, and pain relief at the Good Feet store.
Tony LaRussa here. Has your loss of energy and weight gain thrown you a curveball in your relationship? If so, go see my friends over at Victory Men's Health. Discreet first-class professionals will help you hit those curves out of the park. VictoryMen'sHealth.com. That's VictoryMen'sHealth.com.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
ChevroletChevy.com.
The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
Cut that little child inside of me and such a part of you. Ooh, is burn.
And it is ultimately going to lead to a reduction in overall inflation, but most importantly, to the budget that people have every single day. Inflation is like a theoretical word that economists use, but what families feel every day is the up or down of costs.
It's not really theoretical so much as it is a measurement. Mathematically speaking, that's Miss Representative Jayapal talking about the theoretical nature of inflation that economists use. I think her point there is that the American people, you and me, if things are improved, we're going to notice when we go to Schnucks and buy our groceries. If they are not improved, we're going to notice when we go to Schnucks and buy our groceries. We're going to notice at the gas pump. I have to say, as gas has gone down in price, I still don't feel people being happy about it because it's still in the context of a broader everything else is costing more. You said your wife does the grocery shopping, Brad?
Yes.
Because my husband went and was going to purchase some stuff for school lunches, and we had a list, and I eat Greek yogurt a lot for lunch, and they had no plain Greek yogurt. And then there were 2 other things that he was going to get, and the shelves were super not full. Are we still experiencing these types of supply chain issues? I noticed a place that my family likes to frequent in the neighborhood that we live in. They've got 2 locations. One of them is closed because they don't have enough staff. So staffing shortages are still a problem. And if you've got people on, you wonder if people aren't feeling like they want to get in there and compete for a job, and if employers aren't thinking like, we've got a ton of people looking for jobs here, I can pick the best of this and make my business the best based on having the best people. if there's no competition for jobs, sometimes you might need a warm body. And if you got the warm body, is that making your product the best that it can be? It seems to me that a lot of these lingering effects, they really do come together to make a really, really incredibly awful consumer experience. And it's not always just the bottom line.
Yeah, it's terrible. I do think that we're still struggling through some of these supply chain issues. It all depends on what the object is and what the particular holdup is on the other end of the supply chain that's really stopping things when you see what it is. So sometimes it is like you said, Greek yogurt. Other times, it's chips for cars. It's just different things, and it hits so randomly that you never know what to expect. And the rarity of items, because there's not a lot of Greek yogurt, because it's hard to get on the shelves, well, that's part of the thing that drives prices up.
We bought some recliners for our house last Christmas, I think it was. My husband and I, we have what we refer to our old people chairs, because we each have our own comfy recliner to sit in. Yeah. And it's our second set, and they're not fancy or anything, but they're nice chairs. And it's just where we sit next to each other, but separately. And generally speaking, you have kids sitting on your lap, and it's how you get to be around the family and be comfortable and can still kind of have your own space. And when we purchased these recliners, we paid for the warranty on it. We don't always buy the warranty, but with furniture, if it's all encompassing and the price is right, we did for these. And the footrest that pops up on the recliner on my chair is out of whack. And these aren't even a year-old chairs. The chairs are still nice, but that was bent. So we had the people come out and check on the system and figure out what it was that needed to be fixed. And the guy told the serviceman said to my husband, he's like, this is a really easy fix. The mechanism under there is bent, easy to replace. But if it is made in America, I can have it for you in a couple weeks. If it's made in China, it'll probably be over 6 months. So I'm like, what do I do with if it's in China? I mean, that's not their fault. But if it's something they got to get from China and they got to get it from China off of a ship and into my living room in 6 months, I mean, I don't think that the chair is going to function in 6 months if that doesn't get fixed, especially in my household where we have like monkeys running all over the place all the time.
Dozens of them.
Dozens of monkeys. But, just another instance. It's not like that's not the thing that causes the whole house of cards to fall down. But when that happens and the service person tells you, well, if this is coming from China, it's probably not going to get fixed for 6 months. You go, oh. And then you go to the grocery store and there's no Greek yogurt, or maybe your formula is not there, or maybe you're looking for a certain set of vitamins and it's not there. It's these little things. But the consistency of disappointment. You got to get gas on the way home from work. Disappointment. You got to go to the grocery store and costs are high and supply is low. Disappointment. You got to, something breaks down in your house and you got to replace it. We had to replace our water heater. That was another thing I didn't list before that we had to replace. And those costs are sky high. Disappointment. There's just not a lot of really good news that ever really interrupts the constant drumbeat of disappointment. I'm so convinced that the people in this administration don't understand what the average American individual is experiencing. And that's evident when you are talking to people in your own personal life, especially people who aren't, particularly invested in politics. If you're listening to this show right now, chances are you are reasonably more invested in politics than the average bear. There are people paying attention right now because they're frustrated. They're disappointed on a regular basis. And if they don't normally have their head up and focus on the politicians who are in charge, right now, disappointment after disappointment after disappointment, they may be more than they used to.
Look, I'm not going to get into that particular theory that this is some big plan for the Democrats to turn things around in the midterm. I would just point out that the Democrats being roughly tied in the generic ballot is generally, historically, not a good position for them, and usually portends a bad night. And around this time, back in 2014, when the Republicans won in a rump, the Democrats were ahead by a larger margin in this particular poll on average in the generic ballot. So I think it's a little early for bedwetting season, which we're seeing from a lot of the Republican strategists these days.
So first of all, I'm going to say Guy Benson says, he almost sounds like he says that they won 2010 in a rump. I think he meant rump, or maybe it's just how I heard it. But what happens next in the midterms is it going to immediately affect change in a positive direction for the American people? And I'm not talking about the people like you and me who are paying a lot of attention. I'm talking about the people who are experiencing that disappointment after disappointment after disappointment, who are lifting their heads up to say, well, why is this happening?
I think, Kennedy, if you talk to any number of Republican candidates, office holders right now, they would love very much for this election in November to be about one thing, and that is Joe Biden. And maybe relatedly, as a corollary, the direction of the country. Biden's approval rating is hovering around or below 40, which is dreadful. Historically, the in party's in real trouble at this point in the presidency and a midterm election. Right track, wrong track is abysmally bad. You know, inflation's at 8.5%. This should be a layup for the Republicans. I still think they're heavily favored, certainly in the House.
So his point here is that things are moving in the direction where politically Republicans are going to be sitting there going, rubbing their hands together, going, this is going to be great. This is going to be awesome for our party. What are you going to do for the country? Because the people who you have to convince and the people who you have to win over are the people who are going to pay attention and vote in this midterm election who maybe wouldn't normally do so. They're going to participate in this election in a way that is going to be looking for results. And I'm talking immediate results in a way that likely isn't possible. I am for the Republicans going in and investigating. I am for the people, the majority, taking the crowd of people who have worked very hard against a political enemy that they have in Donald Trump. And I'm talking about not just this past week, Mar-a-Lago, but the obvious vendetta that they have been carrying out against him since before he was even elected the president of the United States. I am for using the majority to investigate those things, but we have to be able to juggle all the balls at one time. We have to be able to be looking at policies and bills that we can put forth that are understandable to the American people, that we can pass in the House, that potentially we can get to the Senate. If the Republicans have one seat in the Senate, through reconciliation, they can pass with that simple majority. But if it takes more than that, they're not going to get the Democrats to sign on it. Make sure that the Democrats have to vote against this stuff leading into 2024. Put them on record every single opportunity that you can get. And if you can get something passed through a Republican-led majority in the House and through reconciliation, budgetary issues in the Senate, if you do pick up that Republican majority, make Joe Biden veto it. Make him not sign it. Make him put him in a position where he has to weigh in. And we have to hear the people who are in this administration speak out on these issues as to why they are against the things that this Republican majority is putting forth. I've said it before, the Democrats who have control of the House, they have control of the Senate, they do not have a mandate. They do not have a clear-cut push from the American people to carry out this drastic, sweeping, progressive agenda that they're trying to do. The Republicans don't have a mandate. They don't even have the majority right now. But if the Republicans have the majority in the House and the Senate that the Democrats have right now, that too won't be a mandate. That will be proof that we are an incredibly divided country with people who feel strongly in opposition to one another, and something somewhere is going to have to give so that we can do something that actually benefits the people of this country who send elected officials to Washington, D.C. to represent them. Somebody's going to have to be able to cut through the messaging. It frustrates me to no end to see on local level elections in the state of Illinois and the state of Missouri to not see, I always think back to Newt Gingrich's contract with America. Give us the goal. When you get elected, if we vote you in, give us the bullet points of what the collective group of people running on the Republican ticket. Give us the goal of what you want to achieve when we send you en masse with a mandate to Washington, D.C. What are you doing for us? Not what are you doing for your party? What are you doing for the American people? And get it together. Get it across the board. Send a coalition of new blood or focused blood to Washington, D.C. that is going to key in on benefiting the American people. and show us that running for office, you can agree to something so that when you get in office, you can actually agree to something and make something happen. I would love to see the red wave form in front of our own eyes before Election Day gets here in that coalition. I'll wait. Stick around. We are going to talk about that YouTube live chat poll. What's your biggest pet peeve? I've got 3 options for you that I think are top tier, but I also have an option for you to say something else and leave a comment. These are the options we have: slow drivers in the fast lane, mouth noises or loud eaters, grammar errors, or something else. Go to the Annie Frey YouTube channel and vote for your biggest pet peeve. And if we didn't list it, you can comment it. We'll be right back. Don't go away.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show. The Mark Reardon Show.
He's a senior fellow at the Manhattan Institute. We keep hearing about climate. We keep getting other priorities jammed in. Is it about healthcare? Is it about reducing inflation?
Weekdays from 3 to 6 on 97.1 FM Talk.
Stewart's American Mortgage. You can Google the bagel loan to find out all the information you need to know about using the bagel loan. It's with Stewie. I am a 2-time customer of the bagel loan at Stewart's American Mortgage. And the reason why is because I trust Stewie. It's simple. You can sit down and listen to how he has put together the bagel loan to help people just like you and just like me. When you go to do a mortgage refinance, you're always going to pay a bunch of fees, a bunch of closing costs that are going to make you go, man, I'm saving this much money, but I'm paying this much money just to go through this. This doesn't really make sense. Not with the bagel loan and not with Stewie and Stewart's American Mortgage. You pay 0 in fees that other lenders are going to charge you for. That's why he calls it the bagel loan, because a bagel looks like a 0 and that's what you pay in fees. If you're looking to do a cash out refinance on your mortgage, while rates are still, low, as according to historic measures, not as low as they have been recently, they still are low and the money is still good. Take the equity out of your house and reinvest it in yourself, paying down high interest debt or potentially making that purchase that you have coming up next. Reach out to him at 314-324-4440. Google the bagel loan, NMLS number 226715.
Hi, guys. It's Andrew. Are you struggling with erectile dysfunction and sick of the pills? Well, today, Wednesday, August 17th, we're running a one-day special you won't want to miss out on. Pineview Medical Clinic uses the most powerful form of wave therapy. This is a technology clinically shown to repair blood vessels and improve blood flow. Even Cambridge has studied our technology. If you're ready to transform your love life, grab your phone. Today is your day. Call us now and you'll qualify for the assessment and ultrasound totally free. Also, a gift that can produce powerful results in the bedroom in minutes. You're going to love that, guys. And today only, we're offering 6 tune-up treatments to our patients free. This has never been offered before and is worth $1,200, but call today, Wednesday, and qualify totally free. 314-530-7777. That's 314-530-7777. Guys, put a stop to your erectile dysfunction and get your love life back. Call Pineview Medical Clinic now to qualify. This offer ends today. 314-530-7777.
Is your roof full of ugly algae black stains? Just one roof restore treatment from Frederick Roofing, and you've got a clean, beautiful-looking roof for a small investment. If it has anything to do with roofing, you need to call Frederick Roofing at 645-2000. 645-2000.
Frederick Roofing, 645-2000.
What is it that's made Frederick Roofing the #1 choice for more than 80,000 St. Louis roofing customers? Is it Frederick's passion for customer satisfaction? Is it Frederick's own expert, licensed, and insured crews? Is it Frederick's ability to always provide an immaculate cleanup when the job is complete? It's all of those things and more. Frederick Roofing, the smart call to make for your commercial and or residential roof.
For a hole in your roof or a whole new roof. Frederick Roofing. Frederick Roofing, 645-2000. Frederick Roofing, 645-2000.
Everybody knows you gotta get it at Clement. Everybody knows you gotta get it at Clement. Find the car you want, new or used. Get it at Clement, get pre-approved. Everybody knows you gotta get it at Clement. Everybody knows you gotta get it at Clement. ClementAutoGroup.com.
The following is a commercial announcement.
There's nothing like hearing the songs you love on local radio with no subscriptions and no monthly fees. But there's a new bill in Congress that could stop the music. If passed, this bill would tax your local radio station simply to play the music you love. Text LOCAL to 52886 and ask Congress to support local radio stations. Help us keep you connected to the music, local news, weather, and traffic that you need each day. This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Studio. Air Comfort Service is hiring licensed journeymen. Don't have a journeyman license? Air Comfort Service will help you get it. Get guaranteed hours year-round and more. Apply online at aircomfortservice.com.
Bringing you up-to-the-minute traffic like nobody else. Sue Thomas and dependable traffic, driven by Ambassador Midwest Floor Company. The best way to deal with in-home traffic. Experience more at Ambassador Midwest Floor.
Think of when we were together.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. So today's YouTube live chat poll has a little to do with the conversation we started last week, and it's what's your biggest pet peeve? Brad, you said slow drivers in the fast lane. That was yours.
Absolutely.
So
drives me up the wall.
Mouth noises / loud eaters. Hannah,
that's me.
That was us. That's the worst. And then grammar errors was another one that I threw on there because that's a pet peeve of mine.
So you.
But I would rather deal with grammar errors than mouth noises. So the biggest pet peeve is that. I would have put Ryan's on there, but he never answered the question seriously, so I couldn't. Of
course not.
Yeah. So I just added another one of mine.
We should have put Wiggins as a pet peeve.
As a pet peeve? Oh man, I'd be afraid to see how that comes out. It does say something else, so if people want to comment that, they certainly can. What kind of feedback are you getting so far?
We've gotten a ton of comments that side with Brad about left lane drivers, and we've gotten also a lot about people not using their blinker. That's a big
like more
peeve.
Specific, drilling down on the car issues.
Yes, not using their blinker. I think my favorite comment so far, I don't have my computer in front of me, so I can't remember the name, but someone said flip-flops. I'm like, wow, that is really passionate.
Flip-flops?
Flip-flops was a big pet peeve for
I didn't
somebody.
ask you to come in here now. You had your chance to discuss this, and you didn't take it seriously before.
We were just discussing how you might be
This is a
pet
conversation about you, not with you.
You know, one of my pet peeves
You're gonna walk out.
is people coming into the studio late.
Yeah, just when they want to.
Yeah.
Just
on their
in and
own
out.
whim. As if this is Ryan Wiggins' America.
Now he wants us to beg him to stay.
No, he wants us to narrate his actions. That's what he wants us to do.
Here's what I want. I want to expand Brad's category a little bit to people who are just oblivious to their surroundings.
That's been people have
There's
been commenting. Is this a
bunch of
pet
people
peeve of
that-
yours?
Yes.
Because we did ask you to participate in this conversation last week multiple times and you refused.
Yes.
That-
Yes.
wait.
I made jokes, thought they were solid, but
No.
you're right. I didn't give any real.
I wasn't amused.
Hold on. Being oblivious to your surroundings
Yeah,
is
I know.
a pet peeve of Ryan Wiggins.
I gotta take a minute here.
Yes.
Slow clap for Brad for not
Yes.
letting us just gloss over this
No
moment on the
way.
Annie Frey Show.
Yeah, because it can be anywhere. You can be at the supermarket or in
I don't
lines.
think he's
He's still trying to gloss over it.
No,
think-
I'm not glossing
I don't
over.
think it's
I'm
landing.
diving head in because you can always tell when sometimes
so
it's,
oblivious.
sometimes it's like, well, it's okay because they were not trying to be oblivious. They're just clearly
Sometimes it's like that.
something else is going on.
Sometimes.
And really, I think what I'm saying here is you got to have grace with people at times.
Oh, I think he's catching on now.
I'm not 100% convinced.
Mhm.
Do you know that you're the most oblivious to your surroundings person that I know in my life?
Yeah.
No, I don't. But apparently,
This is a perfect answer.
apparently I do now because now I'm really nervous about life in general because apparently I
Now?
do this all the time, things that I hate other people the way that other people do. Yeah, I guess I am. I don't know. I know that I'm naive to many situations.
That's what Brad was just saying.
And people like drop hints about things, and I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Let me take myself out of this conversation so this doesn't seem like an Annie picking on Wiggins thing. Brad, Hannah,
Yes.
You are very oblivious.
Okay. can you cite examples? I know I'm putting you on the spot. I'm not trying to.
Like the fact that you just came in here and explained that those type of people drive you crazy. Oh my gosh.
I was going to say, and we were dropping hints the whole time.
This is the end of the simulation. We've arrived. Now we step out of the matrix, and I don't know what happens next.
I know, but I heard my name, and I thought, now I have to participate. And also, right now,
I think I said your name last week when I was like, "What's your pet peeve?"
Yes,
twice, trying to reel you back into the conversation, and you just weren't interested.
Yeah. I am very, very hot right now, which indicates that I am nervous. So I'm a little concerned.
Is that your pet peeve?
That no. What I'm concerned with is that my pet peeve is something that I've been doing my entire life, and this is now being told to me live. I genuinely am concerned. Like I want to go fan myself outside of this room because I'm like, oh no, what have I done? What have I been doing?
This is a pivotal moment in your life.
Yes.
It's like Inception.
Yeah.
His whole world is spinning in on
himself. Are we dreaming? Are we awake? Is this a nightmare? I can't tell.
Yeah. Like, I mean, I know it's funny, but there are things now that I'm going to go do that I'm going to re-examine.
No, you're not, because you're oblivious.
Well, I'm going to have
You're
to.
not going to know when
Are you going to go back
them.
and rethink all of your life decisions now?
I don't know about all my life decisions, but I in circumstances now, I'm going to be concerned that I'm not picking up.
No, you're not. You're not. Ryan.
I'm just non-oblivious enough to know now, because you've shed light on it.
I know,
need
but
to do
it took
something.
you 3 minutes in the segment to know that we were talking about you. Listen, it's part of your charm.
Thank you.
It's a two-sided coin.
Thank you
but
very
there's
much.
charm involved also.
I appreciate that.
That too is one of my pet peeves, though. Which is ironic because who was it that said we should just put Ryan Wiggins on us? And I said I wouldn't do that to you.
You know what's got to be tough?
I have a few things.
Is being married to somebody like that. And by like that, I mean me.
I was just going to say, don't you think that if we had your wife in here, she would be agreeing with us?
Yeah, I do. And that's part of the problem. I'm
She'd
thinking
probably
back.
be banging her head on the wall.
There were times early in our marriage that I remember saying things and going, hey, you know what? That was probably not received the way I intended. And now looking back, I'm like, you know what? That's probably been going on for 15 years. And I don't.
Only 15?
I was going to say, Ryan, don't sell yourself.
Only 15.
Yeah, dating, not including dating.
Listen,
she had to like me enough to
the
marry
good
me.
thing about being oblivious is that it's everybody else's problem.
That's true. That's very true. And so I'm going to come. Not only have I done a 180, I may go back and do a 360 now and say, you know what? Who cares? Because I've gotten by this long.
He's like, not my problem.
Not my problem.
That would be on point.
Exactly. Exactly. So I'm going to reconsider my life, but only.
You didn't even have to come in here for this segment. Think about how your entire trajectory of your life would have been changed if you would have just kept
listened.
eating your candy out of your drawer.
And that's exactly what I was doing. I was eating a fudge round in one hand and gummies in the other. And I would have just gone, yeah, darn it, those slow drivers. Yelled at my radio. Just moved along with life.
Is it really your pet peeve?
Yes. Unfortunately, yes. And I feel very hypocritical now.
Well, give me an example of what you're talking about.
When there's a line forming somewhere, a gas station or a supermarket checkout or something. Supermarket checkout's a little bit tougher because it's clear, but at a gas station, a lot of times the line is just wherever. And somebody walks up and has not acknowledged that there's a line. That's being very oblivious to the situation, and it drives me crazy because I'm a law and order guy, know.
That's a little bit more literal interpretation of what we're talking about. Yours is a little more subjective.
Yeah.
Like
not always though.
Like I'm going around the toilet bowl like I'm about to get flushed and I have no idea, but everything around me is spinning is what you're saying. Like my whole life is that way. I don't know exactly what that metaphor even means, to be completely honest with you.
It's hard to say. I don't know where in the toilet bowl you are in this moment.
Well,
a lot of spinning,
just
water
spinning.
in your face.
I mean, water's just not water. Life is just going around all the time.
Urine.
And you just get used to it and you just go, it's just the way it is. That's kind of what I'm picturing in my head is that my
Don't
life
you remember
is like that.
when we would, I mean, I am somebody who has anxiety. I have what I would consider manageable anxiety, but I definitely, I have a propensity to just think. I just spend an enormous amount of time thinking about things. And we've talked about this many times. You're like, I just don't worry about anything. It doesn't bother me. I don't get anxious. I don't worry. And I just assume things will end up going the way I want them to go. And I'm like, that's lovely.
Yes.
I would love to be in that.
We
boat.
have had that conversation. I think it's a spectrum though, because it's not as if I never worry. It's just that it takes a pretty high threshold.
Yeah, but you worry about lunch.
For it to get, yeah. You're right. Like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? And that's on the same level as, oh my gosh, my house is on fire.
The basement is flooding.
Yeah, my basement's flooding. I'm really concerned about it. Also, I did not get 2 hot dogs. I only had 1. Like they're on the same level for me. So that's a good point.
My basement is flooding, but I also went back in and got a refill at KFC, and I wasn't sure if I was supposed to or not.
Yeah. No, I get your point. Overall, my life is in shambles.
That's not the point at all.
Oh, really?
No.
Okay.
I'm clipping that.
because it's perspective.
Mm.
And you have you used the word for yourself you said naive.
Mm-hmm.
You just have an incredibly glass half full way of looking at things, and less consideration that it might be half empty than I do.
Yeah.
Or most people.
Comparable to like a puppy. Yeah.
We'll get to more of your pet peeves when we come back. We need your votes on the Annie Frey YouTube live chat right now. Stick around. We're back in just a few minutes.
Hello, this is Dave Walker, former Comptroller General of the United States. The federal government has grown dramatically, promised too much, lost control of its budget, and must restructure its finances in order to create a better future.
I agree, Dave. This is Ken Heisey from Heisey Advisory Group, and you're invited to a special event on Thursday, August 25th. Dave and I will talk about our country's financial issues and how they may impact your retirement. Learn why it's critical to take action now and discover strategies that can help protect your future. If you've saved at least $750,000 for retirement, call 314-328-6000 to register for this special event. After a decades-long mission to promote fiscal responsibility at all levels of government, you won't want to miss what Dave has to say. Call 314-328-6000.
Dave Walker is not affiliated with and does not endorse Heisey Advisory Group or AE Wealth Management, LLC. Heisey Advisory Group may not provide tax advice and is not affiliated with the U.S. government. Investment advisory services offered through AE Wealth Management, LLC.
Hello, I'm Joe Cordell of the domestic litigation firm Cordell & Cordell. Here are a few quick divorce tips that we provide our clients. Number 1, don't move out of your house just because your wife tells you to. Remember, that's your house too. And number 2, don't blow through the financial statements that you file with the court. These are key exhibits, and they often make or break your case. And number 3, watch the social networking. Expect your wife's lawyer to do a thorough online search. And incidentally, this is a two-way street. Now, a bonus tip. Partner with your attorney in assembling evidence. You're one of the 2 leading experts on your life and marriage. Your attorney needs your input to achieve your goals. And finally, talk to your attorney before taking action. Good luck.
Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's St. Louis area attorneys. 600 Kelwood Parkway, Suite 310, Town & Country, Missouri, 63017. Online at CordellCordell.com. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
If you own a house in St. Louis and you want to sell it as is without any inspections or need to make any repairs, call Chris Buys Homes St. Louis at 314-782-8000 or at chrisbuysHomesstlouis.com and get your cash offer without any obligation, commissions, banks, or headaches. Chris buys vacant houses, inherited houses, fixer-uppers, beautiful houses, even the tenant won't pay their rent apartment. Google Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis. That's Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis. And check out the best reviews from satisfied customers. When you sell to Chris, you decide when you want to move, according to your schedule and your terms. Go to chrisbuyshomesinstlouis.com. Google Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis or call 314-782-8000. That's 314-782-8000. and get the offer you have been waiting for. Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis.com. Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis.com or call 314-782-8000.
KFTK FM Florissant, driven by the Bomarito Automotive Group, 97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
A big bill for major drugstore chains. Lisa Brady, Fox News. The pharmacies ordered to pay hundreds of millions of dollars over the opioid epidemic.
Federal Judge Dan Polster ruled that CVS, Walgreens, and Walmart created a public nuisance by oversupplying opioids in Lake and Trumbull counties. The companies have been ordered to pay more than $650 million to those jurisdictions over 15 years. A Walgreens spokesman reacted saying they were disappointed with this decision. The U.S. opioid epidemic has caused more than 500,000 overdose deaths, leading to national lawsuits totaling billions in damages.
Fox's Colonel Scott, a jury in Ohio ruling in favor of those counties in November. The judge says the money will be used to ease a continuing opioid crisis. 4 more busloads of migrants arriving in New York City today, sent by Texas, where the governor argues he's helping his own border towns overwhelmed by an ongoing migrant surge. Fox's Nate Foy in New York.
Immigrant Affairs Commissioner Manuel Castro was once again there welcoming migrants into the sanctuary city. And he revealed the city is providing not only housing and services, but also money to migrants.
We're providing some cash assistance, Metro cards. We're doing everything possible to welcome these families, these individuals with dignity, with love.
Commissioner Castro also accuses Texas of not coordinating with New York City and claims the charter bus company has a non-disclosure agreement. But that's something the Texas official in charge of these buses denies.
The mayors of New York and D.C., where Texas has also bused migrants, have been asking for federal assistance. Just released minutes from the latest Fed meeting show continued concern about inflation, but also about the potential impact of the rate hikes being used to fight it. America is listening to Fox News.
The roar of our engines, the pump of our heartbeats, the pedal to our metal, the sparks that ignite us, the pistons that push us, the passions that drive us. From the feelings that move us to the places that pull us on the roads that unite us. With nearly 6,000 stores and over 17,000 auto care centers, Napa has America's largest network of parts and care, here to keep you firing on all cylinders.
Every search you make, every click you take, they'll be watching you.
Are you tired of being tracked online? There's a simple solution. DuckDuckGo. It's an all-in-one privacy app with a built-in private search engine, web browser, one-click data clearing, email protection, and more, all for free. Download the app today and get the most comprehensive privacy protection with the push of a button. DuckDuckGo. Privacy simplified.
Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling weather with Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
A good-looking Wednesday afternoon around town, partly to mostly sunny skies. Right around 80 degrees should do it for the high today. Tonight, clear skies, 70s for evening plans, 62 for the overnight low. Still nice on Thursday, sunny and pleasant, 82. Friday, partly sunny, 85. Couple of scattered showers and thunderstorms over the weekend. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
It's happening right here, right now.
The department filed the motion to make public the warrant.
If this raid in Mar-a-Lago was meant to intimidate Donald Trump, they don't understand Donald Trump.
Stay connected to everything happening in the world, the country, and the community.
You can't fudge this. I don't think they're going to get away with this because they have to produce a whale of a piece of evidence on Donald Trump in order to justify this. And I don't think they have it.
This is 97.1 FM Talk.
When you were looking to sell your home, especially right now where the market, it had been on fire, you didn't even have to hardly get it on the market before you would even sell it in the last year or so. There's kind of a complicated thing happening with the retail market on homes. And I want you to be partnered with the best person on the Illinois side that knows what the situation is and can help sell your house for top dollar. That is Jen Teskey and Remax Alliance every single time. Jen Teskey is an expert. She's Also super fun, which doesn't have anything to do with necessarily being able to sell your home, but you're going to be partnering with this person and you need to trust them, enjoy their company. Jen Teskey is absolutely that. And she can help you sell your home, whether you're looking to sell it right now or yesterday, or if you're like, I'm going to sell it in the next 6 months. What do I need to do to position it to get the top dollar? She will gladly contact you and help walk you through that process to make sure you are getting top dollar. RE/MAX Alliance's Jen Teskey. Call or text right now. You can just start the conversation. Of course, no obligation. Call or text 618-541-1010. That's 618-541-1010.
It will be the summer of joy in Chicago.
Instead, the trio of Pritzker, Lightfoot, and Fox have made this another summer of murder, mayhem, and chaos.
My granddaughter FaceTimed us saying, help me, Daddy's shot. And then he threw over him and they executed him. And then they shot at her.
Thanks to Governor Pritzker, the lawlessness of Chicago will soon be the law statewide. Pritzker's so-called Safety Act makes Illinois a safe haven for violent criminals. That's why 100 of Illinois' 102 county state's attorneys oppose Pritzker's mandatory release of alleged murderers, kidnappers, and arsonists. Prosecutors like Will County State's Attorney Jim Glasgow.
It's going to be literally the end of days.
And prosecutors like DuPage County State's Attorney Bob Berlin.
We are going to have violent criminals out on the street.
Stop Chicago violence from coming to your town. Vote no on J.B. Pritzker. Paid for by people who play by the rules PAC.
Hi, my name is Curtis Barks with Complete Auto Body and Repair. In honor of our newest location in Cottleville, for any new customers, simply come into any of our 6 locations and ask us to pay the first $50, and we will. That's right. That means brakes, suspension, alignments, air conditioning, even our auto body work. Please come see our team or visit us at CompleteAB.com. If it's not perfect, it's not complete. Others can't compete with Complete Auto Body.
Dad, and service.
Oh, yeah, and service.
He fixed the car.
Long summer days call for extra hands. Hire fast with Indeed. Their hiring solution helps attract, interview, and hire candidates. Sponsor a job and instantly receive a short list of quality candidates whose resumes match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
Hi, this is Ken.
And Lori Heisey of Heisey Advisory Group. We're dedicated to helping individuals and families work toward their financial goals.
If you're retiring soon, join us Saturday at 9:30 a.m. for your Retirement Highway.
Investment advisory services by individuals through AE Wealth Management, LLC.
Odyssey is your home for all the audio that matters to you. Download the Odyssey app today to listen to 97.1 FM Talk, even when you don't have a radio. Always streaming at 971talk.com.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
Right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Close watch on Wyoming, and what happens there tonight could add to a trend, and that is election deniers winning primaries around the nation. What does that mean for our democracy and the risk of more chaos, like what we saw on January 6th?
Speaking of oblivious people.
Good one. That's a good one. I enjoyed
love that. If you haven't been listening to the show, you might want to just rewind. We started the segment at about 1:45, and then Ryan felt compelled to come in here and be heard.
At about 1:48.
And
his life changed.
And call himself out.
Yes.
Without knowing.
Accidentally? Yes. Yes. Thank you for the therapy session.
I'd give Brad the credit.
Yeah, appreciate that.
He's the one
free.
who didn't want to let that opportunity be missed.
Yeah, clearly it was all for my own good.
So today's YouTube live chat poll, what's your biggest pet peeve? Slow drivers in the fast lane, mouth noises / loud eaters, grammar errors, or something else? Leave a comment. Well, Ryan wanted to leave a comment, and you said, what was your pet peeve?
People who are oblivious to their surroundings. And I will now acknowledge that I said this as somebody who had not been invited into that segment.
And the best part?
The best part is
Brad. The best part.
It was free.
The best part is Ryan is just the most incredibly oblivious person I know.
No, that's not the best part. That's just part of it.
It's just a matter of perspective.
It was just so many layers of obliviousness just flopping right on top of one another. It was unbelievable.
Our faces just fell.
Yeah, if you're watching, it's one of those watch on the YouTube moments. Like, go back and watch it at about 1:45 because Brad is trying to rein in the moment that we were having here and call Ryan out. And Ryan's just like, yeah, they're the worst, man. Like,
high-fiving.
Brad's going, but.
Good thing we're all on the same page here, my friends.
And then if you're watching, you can see the moment where Ryan is catching up.
And now I'm crying, although it's just my allergies. Has nothing to do with that segment.
The meltdown in the wake of Liz Cheney losing as bad as she lost, and all of these CNNers and these MSNBCers are like, this could be the end of our democracy. You actually think keeping Liz Cheney in Congress was the way to keep democracy? Yeah. Like, there's a solution. There's only two possibility outcomes here, and one is Liz Cheney saves the country, and the other is we lose our democracy.
I guess we won't be having any more one-sided trials because there is no more Liz Cheney.
What will we do with our time?
Yeah. And this is the end of democracy because of that fact, I guess.
It's bizarre.
It is bizarre.
Which it only makes sense when you think, what purpose do these anchors serve? It's not to report the news. And, I don't expect CNN and MSNBC to only go on there and report news. They can have opinions. Their opinions can be different than mine because there are a lot of people, half the country, who, for the most part, agree with what the folks on those networks are saying. But for every conclusion to come down to really the Trump question every single time. And the accusation is that the people who voted against Liz Cheney are obsessed with Donald Trump. Maybe they are, but equally so.
I welcome those kinds of takes from CNN or MSNBC, whoever, because they look so sanctimonious in those moments where basically what they're saying is, we lost. We had a bad night. The people we were hoping win didn't. Yet we're going to try to salvage that by tarring everybody who voted for Liz Cheney in this case, or whenever it's a loss. We're going to so broadly paint them that people who don't even agree with those people go, oh, come on. That's just too much.
Yeah, I think of a lot of people who are in Congress right now that a lot of pro-Trumpers, the ones who the people who cover the news and who they do base their reporting and their news first and foremost as being pro-Trump. That's the place where they start. That's not what we do here, but I did support the president as President Trump when he was the president. I would support him again if he ran again. But it's interesting to see how easily contorted any conversation and quickly contorted any conversation that you're having about any issue whatsoever to get the stopwatch out and clock how fast it becomes about Trump.
It's because he brings up emotion. And really, that's what good politicians do. He just does it so well that you can't talk about him without having emotion, either positive or negative.
Well, I would take that a different direction. His name brings up emotion, but it's not even him doing it. He's not even allowed to be present on the majority of the places where the most people have conversations. They have in an essence martyred him and what he stands for by clipping him off every single possible place where, if I've said this before, I said it right after he officially got banned from Twitter. This is a good move for Trump. After he loses the election and he's not going to be the president anymore, and he's not on Twitter, he can't. If he were out there every day, all day, saying the Trump things on Twitter, you, me, we'd all have to be reacting. You don't have to defend it, but chances are you'd agree with him. You just wouldn't say it the way he said it. So then every conversation that you have with people who are moderate to left aren't going to be talking about issues. They're going to be talking about Trump, which is what they do right now, but they're going to be talking about specific things that he just did and just said. Now they all talk about Trump, but he's on True Social, but I'm just going to be the first to say people aren't on True Social.
Yeah.
The people who aren't already so influenced on the Trump pro or con question are not on True Social waiting to see what Trump says. And it's ironic to me that when Donald Trump says something on True Social, it's screenshot, it's put on Twitter, and that's how people find out.
Mm-hmm.
They did that to him. They made him bigger than he could have ever made himself by marginalizing his voice. And his biggest Achilles heel is his insatiable access to cameras, microphones, and social media. And they said, no, ban him from everything. Now you just have to reflect on what you remember from him. And there is so much good to remember about what he did and what the country was like comparative to the disaster area that Joe Biden has made this country. So you get to kind of pick and choose. He's not there every day to remind you that he's calling Liz Cheney some nickname or, going after people who maybe like aren't even on your radar, but you're like, oh, I guess I have to have an opinion on this person now. It's exhausting. The mainstream media and the Never Trump coalition of people in this country did Donald Trump the biggest favor they ever could.
Yeah, it's interesting what you're saying because you're talking about the kind of the double-edged sword of him in particular being silenced. Now, I'm still not a fan of that, obviously, and you're not either. I don't think that's what you're saying. But the fact that he can't go out there and kind of shoot himself in the foot has been or should have been a good thing for if he were going to run again. Yet, a week old now, the raid on Mar-a-Lago has done for him what he was not even trying to do and make him again the center of attention.
Robert C. Cahaly was on with us at 12:25. Were you able to hear that conversation?
Yeah, I love when he comes on.
Yeah, I know you're a big fan of his and polls in general, but the Trafalgar Group is a polling organization that does things differently than other people, and I find it an interesting conversation. And I like to be able to talk to the guy who's in charge of the polling because I'm not going to ever come on the show. I know, Ryan, you like polls, and I respect a lot of people do like polls in general. And if you look at a cross section of a lot of them and you have to know all the nerdy details about who they're polling and how they're polling, I think it's too much work. And I think that they all like, if you didn't hear Robert C. Cahaly answer my question, when other people are putting polls out there, how are they pulling their information? How are they getting to the final results of a poll? And are they doing it in a way that they know what they want to tell the world? They just got to figure out how to make that happen. And it was funny. His answer was very funny. We interviewed him at 12:25. So in the Odyssey app, you can rewind to that spot. And Hannah and Brad will have that up on the Annie Frey Show podcast after the show, if not already. I don't know. But when you're, it is up. Go to the Annie Frey Show podcast right now and subscribe. When you're paying attention to how people are ripped back into asking themselves the questions, how do I feel about Trump right now? You don't have to do it. The left is the one who won't let it go.
Mm-hmm.
They've silenced him, and they take his, like I said, the worst facet, in my opinion, just my humble opinion, of Donald Trump is that he is a New Yorker fighting a battle in a way that needed to be fought in the way he was willing to fight it. We wouldn't have won otherwise. But he's got to be appealing to an entire country. His methods aren't appealing to the entire country, but his policies are rock solid, and his success rate, fantastic. So I can get over the methodology, like his method of messaging, to an extent. I don't want to saturate myself in it. And when they take him off social media, I don't have to.
It's funny. I was talking with, I think Mark Cox actually a couple days ago about this very issue. And the way that we were kind of going back and forth about it, he likened it to if you have a guy who's running away with the ball on the football field, and the only one left back there who might be able to stop him is the kicker. The kicker is probably not going to stop that guy, but he could slow him down maybe long enough for the rest of the team to catch back up. What it looks like they've done here is that they've decided not to necessarily try to slow Trump down, but to just go all in on a tackle. Like I'm going to try to tackle him, and if I just happen to hit him right in the chest, maybe I'll take him down. But if not, he's going right in the end zone from this. I thought that was a great analogy.
I just don't even see, absent the Mar-a-Lago raid, I'm not talking about Trump last week and this week. I mean, maybe he comes up a 10th of the time.
Yep.
But it's the lead story. And Donald Trump didn't do this. Apparently he was going to go on vacation. He had to find his passport. And Nora, is it O'Donnell? McDonald?
Yeah.
McDonald's?
Yeah, Nora McDonald.
Whatever. Maybe, she goes out and she reports that, very definitively that they did not take his passport. They absolutely took his passport.
Yes.
Like, they just did.
He's got proof.
Why? I mean, it's not even, to me, it's not even a necessary detail to go all in on. Like, why do you have to? Why?
It's a great point.
And the reason is because it's one more opportunity to show a kind of a lying butthole that Donald Trump is. And and somebody in that conversation was a lying butthole, and it wasn't Trump.
Mm-hmm. Nora McDonald. McDonald's.
Please don't make that the program.
I was just getting ready to write the time down, but I'm not going to do it.
I'm begging you to not make that.
That is so good.
One day I want to work for CBS, and they're going to be like, checks notes. Did you call Nora McDonald
Got a couple of
a lying butthole?
A couple of issues with your past work, though.
You're gonna have a lot of issues with my past work. This thing that we're doing here, it's got a time limit. And my career after this is probably going to be not public.
Time limit is 3:00.
Yeah, especially for some of us. What's your biggest pet peeve on the YouTube live chat poll right now? Slow drivers in the fast lane, mouth noises and loud eaters, grammar errors, or something else? Like Ryan Wiggins, you can leave your comment. Maybe learn something about
You will
yourself
learn something.
in the moment. I am going to tell you, this goes into what you were saying, Ryan, about people who are oblivious to their surroundings. But I don't know if it might be a generational thing. It might not. Get your judgment on a story of somebody who's saying, life's not fair. That's not fair. I'll give you the details on what happened to her and why she lost her job. We come back and you can tell me, did she get what she deserves? Stick around. More Annie Frey Show in a minute.
The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe. More than ever, this is where St. Louis is coming to talk. Computer, smart speaker, radio, phone. People are gathering here. Thanks for listening and staying connected. 97.1 FM Talk.
Well, here's the great thing. If you are looking for a luxury automobile right now, you know the market is crazy. This is the most valuable insight you're going to hear on cars all day. In fact, Genesis of St. Charles is where you should start, simply because, A, Genesis is a brand maybe that you're not as familiar with and not as many people are, so they may be a little bit off the radar. And Genesis of St. Charles specifically, they're great to work with because they sell you a car at MSRP. And in this market, that is rare. There are a lot of dealerships who are going, especially in the luxury market, they're going, you know what? We could actually raise this by $10,000, $20,000 and get away with it. And they are getting away with it, but they're not doing that at Genesis of St. Charles. So I urge you to check them out, especially if you're not familiar with the brand of Genesis, online at genesisofstcharles.com. They are located in the St. Charles Hyundai showroom. They don't have a sign up, so you may not see them, but they're part of the St. Charles Automotive Campus on Veterans Memorial Parkway, just a quarter mile east of Mid-Rivers Mall. Online, genesisofstcharles.com.
Synanon was the world's first drug rehab. People called it the miracle on the beach. But soon, people were calling it something else. They were saying it was a violent cult. Listen to The Sunshine Place, a creation and presentation of C13 Originals, a Cadence 13 studio. Executive produced with Susan Downey and Robert Downey Jr. Available for free on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Feeling the pinch of higher prices?
Golden Oak Lending can save you money with their low fixed rates.
James Hawkins here, president of Golden Oak. You can offset today's high prices by using the low interest equity in your home to pay off credit cards, make home improvements, or simply put cold hard cash back in your pocket.
Start saving money and skip 2 mortgage payments. Call 314-567-GOLD today.
Golden Oak Lending, short my blues.
NMLS 114937.
I'm back to doing what I love and more. Thanks to the Good Feet Store.
Hi, this is Arnold, owner of the Good Feet store. Have you been suffering with foot pain, knee pain, low back pain, or plantar fasciitis? Maybe you've tried all kinds of remedies with no relief.
It was terrible. I was in tears a lot. It hurt that bad. For 2 years, I was watching these commercials thinking, this can't be real. You know, you're never going to find out if you don't try. So my legs and my feet do not hurt like they did before Good Feet.
Call 314-317-9494 or visit one of our 2 locations on Olive, Catty Corner from TGI Fridays, or in Shiloh, Illinois, across from Dearborn's.
Thanks to the Good Feet store.
Individual results may vary. Consult your physician for medical conditions. Visit the website goodfeetstlewis.com. Come in and try the Good Feet feeling today. Comfort, energy, performance, and pain relief at the Good Feet store.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Frey Show.
Your body's cold, but girl, we're getting so warm.
Brad, you want to recap for the people what just happened in here?
Well,
This is Brad. I don't want to.
nobody
would be
believes that, Ryan. So
That sounds exactly like him. I'm sure all of St. Louis was just greatly.
Brad doesn't want to?
If you were listening earlier, you'll know that mouth noises is one of the biggest pet peeves for Hannah and Annie.
Which we
And-
refer to as Hanani.
Hanani. Hanani.
We got Brian and Hanani. And if we get
And-
Anna in here, it's Hanani now.
Oh, it's tough.
Hanana.
That sounds like the Muppet song.
That was
So
I
Ryan,
love that song.
ever aware of his surroundings, starts chewing some ice out of his glass.
Yeah. Out of the side of my mouth, in fact.
Yeah, loudly. Not even
Crunchy,
quietly.
cruncher,
Did you hear it?
crunchies.
I did hear it.
You don't like it either.
It doesn't bother me. Ice chewing doesn't bother me.
But you don't like mouth noises.
It's the wet ones.
No.
I'm sorry.
Ooh, what does that mean?
Like a slurp.
Is it
Yeah,
all ice kinda
slurp, smack. Crunching doesn't bother me. But anything that sounds moist.
Gum chewing?
If I can hear it, yeah, that bothers me.
Oh, man. I have rage.
I'm getting heated just talking about
that's
this.
the Red Bull that you had
It
for
is
the first time.
It is
Yes!
nowhere near to the level that you two are, but yeah.
So we're sitting in here and Ryan's just, I mean, we've
Chomping.
literally said to Ryan before, please don't chew ice in here.
Mm-hmm.
How many
Yeah.
times? Nate, in the years that you've been on the show, how many times do you think we've said that?
Almost every day.
That's an exaggeration.
Every week, at least.
What was your pet peeve again?
People who are oblivious. Listen.
Wow.
I got done reading a live for Genesis of St. Charles. I'm like, all right, yeah, I came in on time on that one too because I'm
Feeling
like,
good about
you know,
himself. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Some
feeling
ice
pretty
to
good.
chew.
I'm like, here we go, having a big old drink and a chop down.
And I go,
And
Ryan.
then-
I just said, Ryan, you can't chew ice in here. And
And I was like, oh gosh, I
like-
genuinely did not even think about it.
oh yeah, that's right.
And it's something that I think about 99.9% of the time that I take a drink around any of you.
You know what we should do? A whole show about pet peeves so that you would stop.
Certainly.
And your pet peeve is people
Here's
who are
here's the problem. Here's the problem. I know you guys' pet
we don't
peeve
have
is
that kind of
chewing ice,
time.
but one of the ways that I focus and actually brings it's almost like one of those emotional pets is chewing
Speaking
ice.
of pet peeves.
Yeah.
Like that's the way that I deal with the world around me. The world is cruel, and so I chew ice to kind of.
You
let
don't
that
even
steam
believe
off.
what you're saying.
No.
It's a
What?
freaking lie.
What?
You got to admit, I
No,
was
You
winding a
just
pretty tight ball there,
compared
though.
chewing ice to an emotional support animal.
Well, when you put it that way, yes.
All right, listen to this. This is a Yahoo story that I came
Okay.
across. Talking about oblivious people, this type of stuff gets under my skin. I'm going to read this article for you guys. A single mother said in a recent series of TikTok videos that she was fired from her job in May as a teacher after her coworker reported one of her videos as inappropriate to the school's administration. So Yahoo News clearly thinks that the fact that she's a single mother factors in because it's the first 3 words of the story.
Mm-hmm. I already feel bad.
Nicole,
or whatever comes next.
Nicole Johnson, 29 years old, who was working as a special education paraprofessional, said in a recent video that a coworker, quote, turned in one of her TikTok videos to the school. I wonder if she knows that TikTok is like
public.
Public.
What do you want to do? China
Surprise.
to turn it in one of her TikTok videos to the school administration to get her fired, knowing that she was on a, quote, thin line. So Nicole is saying this person turned in my TikTok video because she knew I was on thin ice. So
we don't know. Okay.
So just
single mother, though.
absorb this as we go here.
Put a pin in
News.
that.
The video that was reported, posted on May 14th, depicted Johnson drinking from a Starbucks cup with the caption, "Me telling my coworkers there's no way I can come in early because I have kids, yet I arrive with a Starbucks daily."
Ooh. Ooh, that's rather incriminating.
Oh man.
That was asking to be turned in.
Quote, "I put this TikTok out there, didn't think anyone was going to do anything with it. I didn't think I could get fired because I didn't think it was unprofessional. It doesn't swear. It's not negative. It's not harassing. It's literally just me being like, quote, I can't come into work early but I have a Starbucks."
That's just saying again what she had said.
Yeah. I'm sitting here going, these are all facts.
This woman sounds oblivious.
The May video has garnered over 165,000 views. Johnson did not immediately respond to, I guess, his Business Insider's request for comment. She also did not name her employer. The series of events which led to Johnson being fired began in November of 2021. In a video posted this past week on TikTok, Johnson said that she was put on administrative leave for 3 weeks last November for uploading, quote, unprofessional TikToks and, quote, harassment of a coworker. So this is leading into this unprecedented, highly unfair firing. I hate oblivious people. Anyway, according to Johnson, the unprofessional TikTok she posted in November were intended to share her niece's story, who had a traumatic brain injury. She then said she was emailed by administrators when she came back from administrative leave in December regarding her late attendance, which she expressed were caused by her struggles with ADHD and being a single mother. She said she then asked for accommodations. What?
Oh my God.
I still don't understand how she lost her job. However, in May, after posting the video about her Starbucks, Johnson said she was called into a meeting to discuss her social media posts. She claimed in her videos that human resources employee printed out 4 colored copies of someone taking a photo of the TikTok video, which she revealed to be what got her fired. Quote, "They whipped out this full color picture of someone taking a picture of someone's phone because apparently we can't share screenshots."
I can't even follow what's going on.
And
this is the metaverse.
And I could tell who was doing the pictures and whose phone and all that. Like, I knew instantly who it was. Also, these are facts. But still, yet, we're not sure why she got fired. Johnson continued by saying the administration that fired her perceived the video as a, quote, slap in the face by interpreting the hashtag FYP.
For you page.
What does that mean?
Yeah, what does that mean?
Because that's what she put on there. And apparently the school, which is totally typical if you work around people in schools, they thought it meant F you people.
I actually would have thought that sounded pretty normal.
Sounds legit. You could see why she would think it.
Yeah.
What can you tell us? What is it appropriate to talk about on the air?
Yes, it's not what you think. For you page is like your home screen on TikTok. So when you like videos on TikTok, they suggest more that are similar to the ones that you like. So the videos that come up on your For You page are for you based on what you like and interact with the most.
Okay, that kind of makes sense.
Yeah. So it's not a Cardi B song or something.
It's what the algorithm's pushing to you.
Yes. Yes.
She's not a Cardi B expert.
I don't know her deep cuts. Yeah. Her B-sides I'm not familiar with.
Excuse me?
I said B-sides. You know what a B-side is? It's from the old days of the records when you spin the vinyl. Spinning hot stacks of wax. The B-sides. You know. Golly. What the heck? This isn't about me. This is about this crazy Yahoo lady.
He's so bad right now. I literally have my legs crossed. Stop it. Professional.
Yeah, be professional.
I look at them and I was like, that's for your page, she said. And I tried to explain it to them, but they're all like, they're not on TikTok. I'm reading, this is a quote. This is not me speaking. This is her. And I tried to explain it to them, but they're all like, they're not on TikTok. And so they tried to end it with, well, it also means F you people.
But they're not on TikTok.
This is a real story that happened to somebody that Yahoo News was like, we got to report this.
Yahoo News, with their opening statement, it sounds like they're taking her side.
I know. Don't forget, this is a single mother with ADHD.
Yeah, oh my gosh. How could that be possible? How could she live?
In a follow-up video, Johnson explains the reason why she posted the original video, saying her job sometimes asked her to come in early. And she saw a TikTok video from another user about the same issue and decided to recreate it. Johnson continued the video by saying she made the original TikTok private after 2 days, something she said she normally does, but it was too late. Quote,
come on.
Uh-oh.
Just do it. Or just go to the bathroom and then come back and do it.
I'm just going to pee right here.
Yeah, just do that. You know who's not going to be happy with that? Mark Reardon.
Yeah, he sits over there,
He's over
Brad.
there. Yeah, that's right.
Tell Fred Bottomer. This is the end. This is the quote.
Okay.
This is the culmination of this moment in time. Quote, I'll never get to say goodbye to the students, though. They'll think I just left them.
Oh, man. If this article were a video, that last line would have to be said over the song. It's so hard to say goodbye.
We're screwed. What is the point? Why is this reported? What part of this? I want her to get fired twice. She shouldn't be around kids.
What is she teaching children?
How did we get to the point where we're like, the people need to know that this is happening? People are getting fired because they say they can't come to work because they have kids ADHD and they need caffeine. It's unbelievable.
If it ever comes to me getting fired, now I know all I have to do is say, no, I've got sleep apnea. You can't fire me. I've got problems.
You do know that the end result of this story is she definitely got canned.
Yeah.
As she should.
This is not a map to keep your job.
We work in the media, so you guys could take up my cause like Yahoo did.
We could.
And make this a national story.
We could.
And I could divorce my wife and be a single father.
No!
Just for a few days while the article was being written.
Yeah, I'll just start the music.
Yeah, let's
get out of here.
hit the dump
last
button.
part for Mrs. Wiggins. That's the only point of this whole
I would
thing.
be doing it for her. It was for the family.
Is it annoying that they start this article as this is the first? Now that you know the whole story, a single mother said in a recent series of TikTok videos that she was fired from her job in May as a teacher after her coworker reported one of her videos as inappropriate to the school administration.
That is such a misleading headline.
And for
why does it matter that she's a single mom? She's a terrible worker.
Why does it matter? Yeah, why does it matter that she exists and we need to know about it? Like, why do we have
None of it matters.
If it's this is what people do for political stories, where they can actually influence things that affect people's lives. This doesn't affect my life at all, other than I was reading the story at about 1:45 a.m. last night, laughing out loud in my bed in tears because it just got dumber. The more I read, I couldn't stop. I was sad when it was over. But why are we reporting on this? And pay attention to how the first paragraph sets up this wronged. The only reason this is a story is if she got hosed.
Mm-hmm.
She got everything that was coming to her.
Yeah. You want to hear a story about sweet vindication?
She's 29 years old. She should know at 29 years old better than this. And her excuses for why she doesn't have to come to work when she's asked to come to work is because she has children. Not an excuse. She has ADHD, not an excuse. And she wants to stop at Starbucks to get a coffee, and it's important to her. Of all of the things in the story that are important, it's important for her to put it on TikTok that she stops to get Starbucks
and lies about it
and goes to work late and says, I can't get here in time. Everything that is wrong with the way people are being raised right now and society's respect for other people and complete and total lack of self-respect is in one Yahoo News article right in front of me on the internet.
Yeah, but you have to read that whole article to get the point. Because if you just saw the headline, the first sentence, you'd chalk this up to another one of those.
Yeah.
Everybody's out to get them.
Oh
and that's what probably 90% of people did who read that headline.
Can you imagine being a part of this school and knowing this person and seeing that story made Yahoo News?
Oh gosh, you'd be so mad.
You'd be like, how in the world did this get this far? Oh my gosh. This woman, Nicole Johnson, is my pet peeve. I've named my pet peeve. It is called Nicole Johnson. We'll be right back.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show. The Mark Cox Morning Show.
I don't call it ranked choice voting, Genevieve. I call it roadkill voting. It's designed to elect people who are in the middle of the road, and the only thing in the middle of the road is roadkill.
It is a real disaster.
Yeah. Weekday mornings 5 to 9.
This is Wiggins. It's funny, I was just talking about sleep apnea and the fact that I have it, but guess what? I actually feel okay because I have one of these sleep apnea retainers that I got at Fountains Family Dentistry that I talk about all the time, and several people here at work I mentioned have come up to me and other people outside too have just said, hey, what is that thing again? It is a sleep apnea retainer. So if you have a CPAP, this is something that could help you get away from a CPAP. It also, I actually advocate the other direction though. If you don't have anything and you're just tired and you're not sure why, maybe you snore, get checked for sleep apnea. And if you want to even skip that process, just call Fountains Family Dentistry direct, and they'll tell you, well, this is how you do it, and this is the whole process, and they can actually make it much easier than even the way I just made it sound. You call Fountains Family Dentistry, you talk to Steve, he'll talk through insurance, he'll talk through your diagnosis and all of those things, and then Dr. Ty Parker will get you fitted with one of those devices. It's great. So everything, one-stop shop for everything you need for your teeth, but I highly recommend those sleep apnea. Fountains Family Dentistry is in Fairview Heights, Illinois. See them at fountainsfamilydentistry.com.
You want to retire soon, but everyone keeps telling you to wait until you're 65. After all, that's the age that you qualify for Medicare and you're close to full retirement age. I'm Marvin Mitchell, president of Compass Retirement Solutions. In my new book, Retire Early, The 9 Critical Decisions When Retiring Before 65, I discuss proper planning to help make early retirement possible. When to take Social Security, what to do with your 401k, healthcare, how to maximize retirement income, and much more. Get a complimentary copy of Retire Early by calling 1-800-743-8510. That's 1-800-743-8510. Can you retire early? Call 1-800-743-8510 for your copy of Retire Early, the 9 critical decisions when retiring before 65.
Investments and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory in Missouri and Illinois. Compass Retirement Solutions is not affiliated with the U.S. government or any governmental agency.
Red Brick Roofing, wherever you live, from Alton to Afton to Collinsville to Cottleville, Clayton to Creve Coeur, your city and more. Webster to Wildwood, the one you know. Red Brick Roofing, wherever you go. For a hole in your roof, or a whole new roof. Red Brick Roofing.
314-645-2000. Aren't you tired of hearing ads that say they're the best, they're the experts, blah, 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 just one unsubstantiated claim after another? Well, here are 2 substantiated claims that actually mean something if you need roof repair or a new roof. With a family-owned business tradition of over 80 years and 80,000 satisfied customers, you can depend on Frederick Roofing, residential or commercial.
For a hole in your roof or a whole new roof. Frederick Roofing. Frederick Roofing, 645-2000.
Everybody knows you gotta get it at Clement. Everybody knows you gotta get it at Clement. Find the car you want, new or used. Get it at Clement, get pre-approved. Everybody knows you gotta get it at Clement. Everybody knows you gotta get it at Clement. ClementAutoGroup.com.
Man, what a great party you're throwing here. This wasp nest is great.
Yeah, man, we got about 70 wasps in here. It's one in, one out.
Too bad we can't fit any more wasps in here. It looks like they're having fun outside, stinging all the kids. Ah, man, who just pulled up?
Oh, no, it's the pest control company again with those green wheels. They seem to kill every one of my parties.
This is Derek, the owner of All Solutions Pest Control. We'd love to help you out, so please visit us online at allsolutionspestcontrol.com.
If a pest-free home is your goal, call All
All Solutions Pest Control.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Studio. Get your HVAC system ready for summer with a cooling system check included with all maintenance plans from Air Comfort Service. Maintenance plans start at $15 per month. To get into your comfort zone, visit aircomfortservice.com.
Back in the car and back on the road. We're with you. Dependable traffic with Sue Thomas. Driven by Ambassador Midwest Floor Company. The best way to deal with in-home traffic. Experience more at Ambassador Midwest Floor.
Just give me the light. Just give me the light. Just give me the light. Just give me the light and pass the Joe. What's another buckle of more? Yeah, let me know my sides and I got to know.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
Could I be your protector? You're buffing every sector. Every man around them wants on your inspector. But you know, let them threaten, I grill you with no lecture. But them for a drill, not them fuel injector.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. We love spending the afternoon with you here on 97.1 FM Talk. You can always stream 97.1 on the Odyssey app. If you're looking to get a nice, strong signal everywhere you go, plug that Odyssey app into your phone, find 97.1 FM Talk. You can Bluetooth it to your car and take 97 with you everywhere, globally. We would love that. Each day, we also stream on the Annie Frey YouTube channel, and we would love for you to visit us each and every day there so you can vote in our YouTube live chat poll. If you do subscribe to the Annie Frey YouTube channel, you can click the notification bell, which will notify you when we go live, and it will remind you to vote in the poll so you can be part of the conversation that we have each day with Hannah at 2:45. Hannah, talk to us a little bit about today's YouTube poll.
Today's YouTube poll is asking, what is your biggest pet peeve? There are 4 options on our YouTube channel today to vote in the poll. The first one is slow drivers in the fast lane. The second one is mouth noises and loud eaters,
also known as Rhine Wing.
The third option is grammar errors, and the fourth option is something else, and we would want you to leave a comment as to what that would be.
I actually had it typed out. I had grammar spelled GRAMMER and errors with ERRERS. And I was like, I can't do it.
No.
I had it written out there and I was like, no.
You would have been skewing the results of the poll.
If it would have triggered people, yeah.
I'm a little surprised with the poll results today. 36% of the people voted that slow drivers in the fast lane were their biggest pet peeve.
Yeah.
28% of the people said their pet peeve was something else other than the 3 that we listed. 23% said mouth noises and loud eaters. I was one of those votes. And 13% said grammar errors. We had a flood of comments come in today.
So let's go through these comments here because we have a little bit of time and react and agree or disagree. Like, yeah, that does bother me, or no, it's not really. It's neither here nor there. So as you go through, give us the first name of the person who leaves a comment. And for folks who are new to this whole thing, it's on the Annie Frey YouTube channel. You can participate in the live chat. Hannah stars these and sets the comments aside throughout the entire show. So this is a collection from the last 3 hours.
All right. First one is Brian from YouTube says, my pet peeve is people who take their KFC soda cup and walk back in and refill a soda a day after they got their free chicken. Do we agree or
Here
disagree?
we go for the technicality. Let us have it.
That seems like a selfish thing for Brian to say.
He's turned his sound on. Fair enough. Okay. Yeah, next.
Didn't like that one. That's my pet peeve.
It's funny
when people say that.
Every time there's like a pet peeve listed, it somehow or another comes back to you, Ryan.
I must do a lot of things, like that little smack noise I just made before I. Yep, that one.
Oh,
you noticed
the wet
didn't you?
ones.
Not having it.
STL from YouTube says, mega pet peeve is people not using their turn signals. Honorable mention is throwing cigarette butts out their window.
Okay.
I agree with both of these.
Okay. Okay. That is a really good one because
Which one?
the throwing cigarette butts out the car window. I don't care about the cigarettes as much as I do if you see somebody throw trash out the window.
Do you remember I'm old enough to remember when we invested in telling people and making littering illegal. Do you remember that? There was like a whole initiative like, don't throw trash out of your car.
Wouldn't that be great if we could go back to the days when that was our top priority?
I just want to know what I remember seeing a lot of money invested. I didn't think of it this way at the time because I was a kid, but there were signs all over the place telling you what kind of fine was coming if you were caught littering. What were we doing before that was an emphasis?
I think we just threw everything on the side of the road.
Did people throw trash out their windows?
Yeah.
They still do. They still do.
I don't see that.
Oh, you really?
I haven't seen someone in a long time throw stuff.
I
out their
feel
window.
bad when I'm driving down the highway with my windows down and something gets sucked up and it starts spinning, and I always reach to try to catch it, and I don't always grab it, and sometimes it just sucks it. I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
Everybody's
Don't
been
you feel
thinking-
like Jim Edmonds when you do catch it, though?
Oh, yeah.
I got it right out of the air. It's the best.
Officer Gary on YouTube says, "My
Imagine
pet."
Jim Edmonds listening right now.
Jim Edmonds probably feels like Jim Edmonds when that happens.
He's like, oh, I remember those days.
Yes, I'm Jim Edmonds.
It feels like it when it doesn't happen, right?
He wakes up every morning and says that.
You know
Even when
why?
There's no trash
Because
involved.
he is Jim Edmonds. Speaking of pet peeve.
Alarm goes off, eyes open. Ha ha! I'm
Still
Jim
Jim
Edmonds.
Edmonds waking up, making it a great day. I love Jim Edmonds. I do. I enjoy him.
I do so much that I want to be him. And
I know.
trash is flying
It's
around in my car.
really crossing over into weird.
All right.
If I
Next
get a text
comment.
message from some of my friends in the business that he's listening to the show, I'm quitting.
If I get a
I'm gonna be
text
so embarrassed
from a number
This
I don't
is
know
it.
that says, ha ha, this is Jim Edmonds, I'm going to save that one.
Yeah, it's
Because it
not-
might be Jim Edmonds.
It won't be. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
Save this ship.
Gary says, "My pet peeve is getting bad directions and wasting time driving the wrong way."
Who gets Gary? That's Officer Gary. First of all, don't you know? Don't police officers know every road to get to where?
They do.
And second of all, GPS.
I agree.
Remember
Officer Gary, you got
maps?
some splaining to do.
Remember paper maps,
I do.
atlases? We talked about that recently.
Yep.
I love a good map, but printing out the Yahoo directions, and it's not like they updated those with construction on any regular basis. So you could just take the way that you go from point A to point B, driving 500 miles to get there, and the road's closed. And then you're looking at paper. There's no like click for alternate routes.
Yeah, you got to think hard when you use a map instead of GPS. I love maps that show
Some of us
the
more than
entire country and just things, random things that you wouldn't know otherwise. Like here's where people say Coke versus pop versus
Where are they?
soda.
Where are these maps?
Yeah, what?
You know what I'm talking about? Like they're almost cultural maps where they show the country and the divide between here's
Stop,
who's voting for the Ram
We
or
have
rooting for the
precious
Rams
minutes
this year.
left, and Mark Reardon's sitting out there waiting to take over. He literally is like, I can't believe that I don't have the 2:00 hour right now.
Coming soon, Mark.
But Ryan is talking, and Hannah and Brad and I are just taking turns looking at each other.
Yeah.
Like, what the heck is
And
he
I'm taking
talking
turns
about?
looking at both of them going, come on, somebody's in my boat,
Come on,
aren't you?
come on, come on.
Come
No,
on, you guys.
we have
Yeah.
jumped
Not
out
gonna
of the
happen.
boat. The boat has set sail.
Robin Baxter from YouTube says, "The DMV."
Yes.
Just in general?
Yes.
Yep.
I'm gonna stand up for the DMV. I went to get my license renewed this year. I guess, I don't know, 38 is the time when you have to get it renewed. It was a pleasant experience. It was fast and it was pleasant. And I went to one in Madison County. And
Oh, wow.
it was such a pleasant experience. And I mean, it wasn't like they gave me chocolates and flowers when I left, but it was such a nice, normal, pleasant experience that it made a lasting impression on me. So high five to them.
Chocolate on your pillow with your picture? Go on. Don't leave me hanging.
Right.
No, just go.
Go ahead, Hannah.
Yeah, just keep talking.
Next
Not you, Ryan.
one.
You stop talking.
RS from YouTube says, "New pet peeve: TikTok teachers." Yeah. Yeah.
No joke. That is an understatement of the century. Libs of TikTok is basically just teachers
Yes.
who are as annoying as it can possibly be. And listen, I love a teacher. I married a teacher. I sleep with a teacher.
Ooh. Good, do tell.
So do you. A different one.
Look, we're all sleeping with teachers, right?
No.
That's what we do.
No.
No?
I
No.
don't like this conversation.
There's nothing
all
like
half for
talking to teachers who are long time in the business of educating kids, watching these morons get on TikTok who can't stop saying
it's
really, really
so
dumb
bad.
things.
It's so bad. I feel so bad.
I think that I want to change my vote to be with RSGs on.
Yeah.
on-
Mhm.
that's
Can't stand
a
it when
great
people
one.
say
that was
dumb things.
that was a good comment.
This is one for the books.
Mark S from YouTube says,
Hannah's really letting it hang out. here
Yeah, she
today.
is.
She's just
She
like,
normally saves me.
are,
in
are we
particular.
done saying dumb things?
She's not
Yeah,
doing
she's
it today.
usually the one going, all right.
All
let's
right,
get to
then.
Another comment.
Yep.
She's just sitting here letting it waft in the wind.
Like a piece of trash in Brad's car. No, she's doing it again. I blame Hannah for this. All of this.
Next comment.
Not Hannah's fault.
Yeah. What? All right. We're reading this comment. Nothing worse than someone who slurps their soup, talks with their mouth full, eats with their mouth open, or smacks their lips when eating. Yes to all of those. All terrible.
Real question, Ryan, because Brad and Hannah and I have all expressed that this is a big deal for us, a number one deal for Hannah and me. If you were to sit next to someone who is obnoxiously chewing their gum or just crunching chips like crazy, would you even notice they were doing it?
Yeah. I mean, if it was beyond...
Hannah is recoiling.
I have chills. I'm even talking about it.
There is a line there where if you're in, especially if you're in a public place,
if you're sitting with somebody and they're drinking coffee and it's hot coffee and they're sorry, Hannah.
I probably mostly wouldn't, but there's a point at which I'd go, okay, if I'm hearing it, then
I have
it's
to be
becoming
right in his ear.
I'm wondering how long it would take you to, like, what the level would have to be that you would notice it. And then once you notice it, would it even bother you?
Not really. I actually, you know what would happen is I would think of
Never
you.
been more.
I would think.
Oh, thanks.
I would go. Oh man, that's getting annoying even for me.
Annie would hate
imagine
this.
If Annie was here.
Let me go get her and sit down and act like it's
yeah, or
important.
I'd call you. Hey, listen to this.
I got something to tell you. So you're still be quiet. Hey, lady, can you take another drink of your coffee?
Loud. One addendum to loud noises when
Mhm.
somebody's eating. If you made a great meal and everybody around the Thanksgiving table is going,
What kind? Wait, what?
oh, so good.
The bathroom's right around the corner.
That okay?
That's not.
They're complimenting you.
I don't.
This meal's so good. I'm Jim Edmonds. I woke up Jim Edmonds. Now I'm full Jim Edmonds.
Man, I'll tell you what, when it comes to what I do for a living, I meet people in high places and get to, shake hands with people who represent people in government. And I've met some celebrities, but like the Cardinals baseball passion that I have and affinity that I have for this team is where I set aside and I fangirl. I feel like I owe them a blanket apology today. On behalf of Ryan Wiggins, I am so sorry. Camel X is going to get me fired right now. Mark Reardon, get in here if there's anything left to be gotten.
Attention veterans, if you were stationed at Camp Lejeune between